Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.
Do you know what day it is?
I'm so glad you asked.
It's, Today.
Today is...
You don't know what day it is, do you?
Today is tomorrow's yesterday.
No, wait, yes.
Technically, yes.
Or the answer we're looking for.
It's Wednesday.
Middle of the week.
Middle of the week.
It's Wednesday! Oh, it is Wednesday?
Yes.
Can we move on?
Sure.
It's showtime.
Good morning, DJ and PK. It's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Welcome in on a Wednesday morning. We're going to the Star in Dallas for Big 12 Media Days. Utes are talking today. BYU talked yesterday. We'll get to Kalani Sitake here in a minute. Just some of the sports headlines. If you missed it, the Jazz won again at the Huntsman Center. They go 3-0 in the Salt Lake City Summer League. They're off to Vegas now. I guess they get a trophy and a championship. I hope they cut down the nets. They didn't use most of the big-name players. I don't want to overuse them in the summer. So DNP coach's decision for Darren Peterson, for Ace Bailey for the second game in a row, and for Cody Williams also. So really the three guys I was most interested in watching the Summer League, none of them played a minute.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.
Last night, just sat him and let the other guys go. At the World Cup, still stings the U.S. went out, and I think it stings even more now because the U.S. just didn't answer the bell. They didn't compete. They lacked confidence. And then you see Egypt, ranked 24th, taking on Argentina, and they got a 2-goal lead after 78 minutes. And then Argentina scores 3 times in the last 13 minutes. Messi with a great assist, Messi with a goal. Yes, there were calls, multiple calls. An Argentina goal stands, an Egypt goal doesn't count. Egypt feels hard done by VAR and the referee, and I get it. It doesn't do them any good. They're out, but they battled. They're ranked 24th in the world, and they were in the round of 16, and they battled. And they lost to a really good team. They lost to Messi. Just Messi, incredible, just unreal. And Switzerland battled with Colombia, scoreless game. It goes to penalties, and the Swiss win in advance. And the Swiss, like the U.S., are ranked in the top 20, but not in the top 10. Looking at the rankings that I think are most current here, U.S. is 16, Switzerland is 14. It can be done. Getting Colombia is a lot like getting Portugal. You're getting a really good team, but you're not getting one of the elite, one of the big dogs. That's the thing about the U.S. going out. They were knocked out by Portugal, good but not awesome. They were knocked out by Netherlands, good but not awesome, by Portugal, by Ghana. Last 4 times they've gone out to good teams, but they haven't gone out to champions. They did do that early, in 94 when they lost. They lost to Brazil, who won it all. And in 2002 when they went to quarterfinals and lost to Germany, terrible call on the handball, should have been a goal. Well, at least a penalty. And Germany lost in the final. So you got to compete, man. You got to battle. You got to give yourself a chance. Switzerland and Egypt gave themselves a chance. Egypt couldn't slam the door. Switzerland is through to the quarterfinals. Neither one of them have as many people as the United States. Neither one of them. I mean, Switzerland has a lot of wealth. The U.S. has wealth, but come on. I do think MLS is coming out looking good in this. For all the people who say it's a retirement league and Messi looks awesome. Well, Messi does look awesome, but it's not a retirement league. And I get that at the end, he didn't look great in the Champions League for PSG. The best players, the best defenses. This is a little bit of, the World Cup's a little bit of all-star thing, right? They don't have a lot of time together. Certainly not the time the clubs get together. So whatever limitations Messi has are going to show up against the best clubs who train together all year round, all that kind of stuff. But, I mean, Messi's just carried Argentina. You can say, and I have said, that the U.S. had an easy draw until they faced Portugal. They hadn't faced a top 20 team. And then they get Portugal, who is a top 20 team, and they get beat. Well, Argentina still hasn't faced a top 20 team. Now, having said that, Messi looks awesome. If he can light up the World Cup like this, even, teams in the 20s and 30s, maybe people in MLS are doing a better job defending him than you think. I mean, look what he did to Egypt at the end of the game. Holy cow. But eventually Argentina will either lose to one of these teams or they'll get tested. They'll have to play France or Spain or both. We'll see how this plays out. You can't hide from the big dogs forever. But now they get Switzerland. So they'll play a top 20 team, but they won't play a top 10 team. All right, enough of that. DJ and PK, let's turn our attention to Kalani Sitake at the Big 12 Media Days. PK's there, Scotty G is there, the coach Tim Lacombe, Jake Scott. It's good to have 4 people there because 3 are always there, and then one guy can rotate out and go get something to eat, go to the bathroom, take a break, whatever. So here's Kalani Sitake with the guys.
Kalani Sitake. How are you, Coach?
What's going on, guys? How you doing?
Man, I'm fired up to see you. I'm so excited for football season. Let's get this thing going.
Yeah, it's right around the corner. It's an exciting time.
There's no off season for you guys anymore, is there?
Not really.
Maybe a couple weeks in July, or?
It's kind of odd though because we did have some time in July, but you're starting to see a lot of coaches leave college to go to the NFL so they can spend time with their families. Like, guys, where are we at now? It's like
so crazy.
I can't believe that we're saying that now, but that's happened quite a bit, and it's my job as the head coach to make sure that I protect the life, the livelihood of my coaches, my staff, and so this is good. I'd rather them be here, but I got to do this, and this is part of the necessary part of my job that I enjoy talking about football and things like that, but don't really. Do I have to be in a suit every time I do this?
They don't
pull it off, though.
Yeah,
no?
Yeah, you pull it off well.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, it's just a good thing for big and tall sizes.
A win for big and tall.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Everybody we talk to is optimistic at Media Days, which of course is a great vibe about this event. But you've got to be particularly optimistic bringing so many players back, including the Offensive Player of the Year and QB1.
Yeah, I mean that's a good start, but there's a lot of work to be done still, and I really am excited to see the progress that Bear's made throughout the year, and to see how far he's come even during the season last year. So. That with what he did during the spring, what he's doing during the off season right now, it's been impressive. But that's with all his teammates. The guys have been doing such a great job, and I'm just trying not to mess it up. These guys are great work ethic, and trying to give them an environment where the guys feel that they have autonomy, that this is their team, and trying to provide an environment where they can feel that their leadership can show and it can come through.
In terms of your staff, obviously a change with Jay leaving and K-Pop coming in. I was talking earlier. I was around BYU so long. I watched him as an intern run the back of the end zone to the locker room from the box. Mm-hmm. He's been at it a long time. Your confidence in him and what you think the defense can do this year?
Yeah, I knew K-Pop was going to be special long ago, even before he came on the staff. I have to say, the reputation that he created for himself as a coach in recruiting as an assistant, and even what he's done with Bronco was really impressive. I took over as a head coach and got to coach Fred Warner for 2 years. And Fred Warner, guys like Fred Warner, Sione Takitaki, Harvey Langi, all those guys were singing the praises of Kelly Pipinga from that point on. And so it's something that I took note of, especially Fred. Fred really loved him. And so I took note of it, and anytime I get him on staff, I wanted to, so we brought him in. And once he was here with Jay, I knew he'd be the next guy in line. It was pretty easy. And so right when Jay left, fortunately I planned for Jay because I thought Jay should be a head coach, and
right.
You're planning on him leaving at some point, and he left for Michigan, which is great for him, but that means that I got to go to the next phase, which is hiring the defense coordinator, and it's been K-Pop from the very beginning.
How much does the influence of Gary Anderson help in making that transition of being defensive coordinator?
It's been huge. Gary's been his impact has been so good for our program. He knows the front really well. He's been a coordinator, been a D-line coach, and he's been a head coach, and so there's some really cool lessons that he's learned and that I get to benefit from, and so it was really fortunate for me to keep him here because everybody wanted him, including Michigan and other places. So for him to want to be here, be with these young men, and to be with me is a huge honor. So yeah, we have. I am definitely one to admit that I don't have all the answers for myself, but I have some really good people around me, and so we can keep building on it. And Jay would be one of those guys, you know. So what he was able to do for us here is I appreciate from him, but we also have a lot of guys that have done quite a bit too, and it's never been about one person. It's not going to be about one coach, and so the group has done a great job, and I'm glad that we're able to keep the foundation of our group together, and it helps that you return so many players.
You've been so close to conference championship for a couple of years in a row. How do you set goals with a team, and how do you vocalize it? Do you even dare speak like the goal is to be conference champion this year, or is it strictly 1 week at a time? How do you work that to your advantage?
I think there's pretty much the given goals. Everybody knows that everybody wants to be champions. You're non-competitive if you don't plan on trying to get that done. But our focus needs to be on how do we get that done. Just saying that you want to be a champion doesn't make it happen. And it's what are you willing to do in the off season when no one's watching. By the time you get to the season, much of the work has been done already. So I like to see a physical change in their presence and who they are, how they handle themselves, the confidence that they bring. That usually confidence happens when you work hard and you know that you've done everything you could in the off season to make it happen. So I like the 6 guys that we brought. You met them, you saw them, and they physically changed themselves. Bear included, you know, and so that's one part of the factoring, you know, the change. And the next part is also what we're able to do mentally. How can they be closer as a team? And then I don't sit there and I'm not fixated on do or die with the championship. My job is pretty simple: get these guys to play 12 times at their best, and a lot of that has to do with making mistakes during the week in practice. We want to get the mistakes done because that's the best learning experiences, that you go through some mistakes and taking some chances in practices and spring ball, all that stuff. So trying to get that done, but then not have the mistakes become part of their habit, you know, learning from it and making sure that you improve from it. So that's what the goal is. That's my job, is to get them to do it 12 times in a row. And if we do that right, we should earn more time to play. And we did enough of that last year. But we could do better. So when I say we, myself as a head coach, I've got to do better getting these guys to perform 12 times at their best. If we do that, if we can get that done, then I think we're going to love the results.
I was at BYU when you had the lay on that first day when they announced you as the guy, and at that point didn't have a ton of interaction with football. But I'll never forget. You reached out when you first got the job, and you were like, "Hey, I heard you recruit for basketball. Let's go to lunch." So right from the very beginning, it was about recruiting to you. You guys are definitely, in another echelon and tier in recruiting. How has that transpired? How has that been done?
Recruiting is it's a people game, So I think the key is not trying to win people over, just trying to give them more information and see these young men and their families that BYU is a good destination for them. And so it's getting out there and letting them know that they can progress as a human, and they can succeed at BYU even if they're not at that level where they think. I think a lot of times people are like, "Why? I'm not going to go there because I can't survive." Well, what are you trying to survive? What are you looking at? Are you looking at the rules that as a hindrance to where you're trying to get? And it's like, so if you're trying to get to the league, then this should help you. It removes the distractions for you. And so it's just educating them that way, and then letting them come to a decision on what's best for them. I think my style of recruiting is I don't go out and sell as much as I try to inform and then let them make the decision. The last thing I want is this young man to come to BYU and wish he was somewhere else. You're not doing us any good, and you're not doing the school that you should be at doing any good. So let's figure this out together, and then not. It's just as much revealing for them or where they want to be as much for me. And I'm all about football and getting people to the right place, that's going to be suitable for them. And then we have the transfer portal. So when we mess up in recruiting, which we tend to do sometimes, it's not an error-free.
We never did. I never did my whole time.
Yeah, exactly. But I think if I want to mess up on somebody in recruiting, it's because physically maybe I thought they were going to do better. But as far as fit, they're perfect for our program. They're perfect for the culture, and we can work with that. If they ran a 4.8 instead of a 4.5, like we thought they would do, then I can count on the 4.8 every time. If someone says they can run a 4.4, but I never see it on the field, then what's the point? I'd rather have the guy that runs a 4.8 that will give it to me.
How much carryover to football do you get when a number 1 overall pick in the NBA draft has that Y logo and they see the highlights wearing Brigham Young jersey? Do you feel a carryover from that on the football side?
Yeah, I think for the same thing that I was talking to Tim about, like there's a lot of people that are like, well, hold on, he's not a member of the church, and he seems to have done well. He says positive things about BYU, but we've had all those. That's been there in the history of BYU athletics. I mean, Jim McMahon and all these stories, Steve Sarkisian, all these guys have come here and they've had great careers and had great experiences, and made some connections and some friendships that last a lifetime. So it's trying to elevate that. But I think in real time, it's easier for me to talk to a recruit about AJ than it is about Jim McMahon. Yeah. Even though they may be a quarterback, it's like that's something that's easier for them to see in real time. And so, yeah, anything positive for the school and informing recruits that gets us to just. We're seeing it already in recruiting, but where young men are committing to us earlier than we normally would that aren't members of the church. And we had it on a recruiting weekend in June where basically all the non-members that we had on that visit committed before even some of the members did, So it was they were there. They saw how awesome the experience was for them, and they had that feeling that this is home, and so it's perfect for so many people, not just for members of our faith.
Kalani Sitake joining us right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Coach, always a pleasure. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Thank you so much.
Yep. I know this is one of about 100 interviews you'll do today, so thanks for at least putting up with us.
Hey, you guys got me at the beginning. Who knows how I'm going to look after
you're going to be haggard by the end, man. Your coat's going to be up over it.
There's promise of barbecue at the end of the day, so that'll get me through.
When's the next? Because do you go full suit at church, or do you just do the shirt and tie? Because I don't think that suit's coming out of the closet for a while.
Yeah, there's sometimes sometimes it just feels like an aloha shirt.
You need to go with the skirt too, bro.
The tupenu, yeah. That's very comfortable. You guys should all try it.
You wear it well too.
Thank you.
But not as good as you dance. That's my favorite thing about you.
It helps show my figure that I want to show
when you're
off
out there just shaking it, man.
I don't think I have the calves for the skirt. But
yeah, that's my best feature. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Coach.
Kalani Sitake.
One and only Coach Sitake. Thank you very much, Coach.
Okay, there is Kalani Sitake. When we come back, we'll hear from Arizona State coach Kenny Dillingham. Later in the hour, Rich Clark, college football playoff executive director. Stay with us. Good morning, DJ and PK. It's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. All right, back to Big 12 Media Days. The guys are talking with Kenny Dillingham. PK, Scotty G, Tim Lacombe, Jake Scott, all there. Here's Arizona State coach Kenny Dillingham.
I know this isn't your favorite thing to do in the world, but we appreciate you coming by and talking a little bit about your program. We've had a few of your players on, and one thing that's really resonated with them that they've talked about is the fact that they know that you've got their back in terms of raising money to, for NIL, and they appreciate that. Obviously, that helps out you in talent acquisition and talent retention, but just how important is that to make that statement to your locker room, like, I'm in this with you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I'm in it with them. Like, we have one vision. We're one team. We're all in the same boat. We're all rowing together. I'm not in the front. I'm not in the back. I'm just in there. And I think, everybody's got a job to do and a role to do in a team setting, right? My role is not to stand and tell everybody to row. My job is to row with them and teach everybody when to do it. Like, let's do this together. Everybody's got their own skills. Everybody's got their own role. And how do we all do this together? How do we all get the goal accomplished as one? And I think that's what I just try to reiterate in the program is we're all in this together. Coaches, players, everybody involved. We all got to push in the right direction.
Your background is in developing quarterbacks, and that's going to be a key once again for you this year. And I'm curious, what is the key to developing a good quarterback?
I think you got to understand them as a person. I think you got to understand, like, why do they throw the ball downfield when they shouldn't? Why do they turn it over? Why don't they throw the ball quick game? Why do they like to scramble? I think you got to understand, like, oh, well, this guy is a perfectionist. If it's not perfect, he's the guy who turns his toothbrush. Well, if it's not the perfect thing that it's exactly right, and he's athletic, he's been making athletic plays his whole life. He's going to play off platform. That's his comfort zone. So I think you got to truly understand who the person is, how they're wired, and then develop a system around the wiring of that person. If that person wants to be in control, he's a control freak, give him control. If that person doesn't want to be in control, call the play. I'm a loose guy anyways. Call a play, and I'll make it right because I play free. Well, then call it like that. So I think you got to truly understand the personality of your guy, what he wants, and then be willing to change your system around what that guy wants to maximize him.
Guy walks off the field after throwing an interception. What's the first one or two things you talk to him about or ask him?
What did you see is the first thing. Not what I saw. What did you see? And then it depends on who the quarterback is. I mean, some quarterbacks respond to competitiveness, like get into it, and you got to challenge them. Some quarterbacks, you don't want to challenge them. That's not their mindset, right? If you challenge them, there'll be conflict that's not productive. So it just depends on who you're coaching. I think, but the first thing I always say is, what do you see? What did you see? What did you see? The second thing is completely based off who I'm coaching. It's how am I going to coach this guy now? Is it going to be tough love? Is it going to be, hey, I know you saw that, but, and I think that's the challenge of coaching, is be able to manage that mentality of the player throughout the game.
I knew he wasn't going to miss it.
The Sun Devil himself.
The Sun Devil
yes.
himself.
Okay. You know, he was off, and we called him, and then I knew he was going to come running.
2 miles in 21 minutes.
Wow.
In this I grew up in Phoenix. If it ain't in the teens, right, Coach?
So, go ahead.
Go ahead, PK. We were talking quarterbacks. We're pretty much just getting started, so jump in where you want.
I don't know if you remember, Coach, but 2 years ago, your first year in the league, when we were doing it at Vegas, Tramel wanted to introduce you to me because of my connection. And so I was sitting next to the table talking to Whittingham. And I stood up, and so we were right there, you and me. Whittingham's right here. And you said, I want to build a program like him. I don't know if you remember.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And you pointed. I mean, we could touch his shoulder. His back was to us. And so you're on your way. And the one thing we've covered Kyle forever. I mean, I'm a golfing buddy of his. We're the same age and everything and whatever.
Does he beat you?
No, not yet. he took it up late.
Okay.
And I was a teen, like 14. It was $150 to play in Canto. And then Bel Air out on 51st and Bell, right? I know you're from the other side of town. But the one thing he did really well was when he was the underdog, overachieve. It was the king of overachieving. You guys were the underdog 2 years ago, big-time overachieving. Last year, I think there were some injuries. There's no question about it. And now this year, you're kind of down a little low, maybe middle of the pack. What do you like as far as expectations and being able to potentially overachieve them? Because, as I say, Whittingham did that for 20 years.
Yeah, I mean, I like the underdog mindset. I like, getting it out of the mud. I always want a team that's going to be physical, that's going to be tough. Like, you play us. I mean, like, these guys aren't going to quit. Toughness is one of our pillars of our program, not just physically but mentally. Like, I want people to feel how tough we are, how physical we are, to see us respond to adversity. We didn't do that as good last year as we did in years prior. I still thought we did a good job last year, but not as good. So I want to see our toughness, and I think that's really the key, and that's something that, Coach Whittingham built Utah. Was every time you knew you were going to play, you knew you were going to, you better strap it up, is going to be on.
Are you born with toughness, or can you develop it as a coach?
I think you can develop it. It's really just what you allow and what your mindset allows. You can develop mental toughness through being challenged, and then obviously physical toughness is the team culture. Like, either you're going to be tough and rise to the team culture, or you're not, and you're never going to play. So I think if your best players are tough, you got to recruit the toughness because you can't obviously convert 50% of your team can't be soft and become tough. You've got to have a nucleus of tough to raise the level of the guys that maybe naturally that's not their game, and then they figure it out and they realize they have to play with that style. So I think once you get that culture going, then it's just about sustaining that culture, and hopefully the root of your team will always have those core values.
Is that hard to identify in recruiting?
It is. But it is and it isn't. Some guys and then some both ways. It's the guys that are in the middle that you're in the middle on is like he could go either way that you got to be careful. But I think going to that's a great comment. You've got to recruit to your culture. You can't be scared to miss on guys. You can't be scared to say no to talented guys. You got to be willing to say, okay, we could get this guy, but it's not about the guys we don't get. It's about the guys we get. And if all the guys we get are rooted in our type of substance, well, we're probably going to wind up being pretty good. If we take too many chances on guys that are talented but aren't rooted in our substance, there's a chance that they can divide and they can actually pull away from everybody else's X factor, which is whether it's your toughness or your intelligence, whatever that you feel is your X factor as a program.
So, watching you from afar, obviously you've really leaned into Arizona State, and working with PK, we get a little, inside and notice those things and leaned into the community and, forgive me, ignite the valley?
Activate the valley.
Activate the valley. Thank you. So sorry. Have you noticed the difference? Like, has it moved the needle with the community in Arizona State and accomplishing what you want to accomplish?
Well, we've sold out of I believe our last 9 or 10 home games, right, which didn't happen in years prior. And we're a major city, so we're one of the largest cities in the country, which most of the time large cities don't sell out collegiate games, right? There's usually a correlation there.
NFL cities.
Right, their NFL cities. We've sold out games. We're talked about on the radio as much as any other or most other pro sports teams in the city. We've sold out or very close to selling out all season tickets this year. All premium seats sold out. They're building more premium seats because they need more inventory to sell. So we are creating an environment where this is where you want to be. And in college football, if you don't have a home field advantage, you have no chance to have seasons that you expect, right? Because college football is a drastic change when you have a good home field advantage. You're talking 7 to 10 points with a good home field advantage. So if you can create an unbelievable home field advantage, it's not just something that's fun for your athletic department to collect more money. It produces wins, and that's what we've been trying to create here, is that activating the valley and getting people involved. I think we've done that. Now we just got to maintain it.
Your first question after the U of A game 2 years ago, your first year, what are you going to do next? And you said one word 3 times, fundraise, fundraise, fundraise. And then you went out, and I know you got the practice facility. I've seen the drawings and all that stuff. And it's a guy named, is it Sweeten?
Brian Sweetie.
Yeah, Sweetie, with the $10 million. And you talk about how, okay, we caught up, but now we have to catch up to the people who passed us while we were catching up, basically, right? I mean, I listened to everything you say down there. And we saw Randy Bennett when he got in. They had a center, and he said, well, he went to Gonzaga. We couldn't pay him. I mean, he was just flat out said it. And obviously you had a quarterback and a running back leave. What can be done, or how close are you to being to that point where those guys won't leave for the money?
Yeah, I think, for us, we've had 4 guys in our 2-deep leave in 2 years. That's pretty good. To have 4 guys in your 2-deep leave in the last 2 portal cycles is a positive. It shows what we're doing. You're not going to bat 1,000. It's not going to happen. And nowadays, college football is more like baseball than it is the NFL.
Sure.
So you got to be very strategic with how you do things. So I think for us, where are we? I'm not going to get into the nuance of where that is. Do we need more? Absolutely. I think every coach, this is a race, and you're always running it, and nobody's running it right next to you. So, if you speed up, what's the person next to you going to do? They're going to speed up.
Yeah, there you go.
And that's the world we're in. So when we run faster, they run faster. Well, then we got to run faster. The question is, who continues to run faster first, or who continues to catch up? Some people are always reactive, and some people sprint to take the lead. And those people that sprint to take the lead have a little advantage for a year. Then everybody else catches up, and then they sprint again. Little advantage for a year. The other people are just always one step behind. So my goal for the program is to start being the team that takes the lead and not catches up.
And then how much will be the local focus that could set the tone? I know all about the golden ticket, and I thought you passing the food over the fence, I think, to your sister, which sent a message, I'm here, I'm staying here. I got it. I think that's what you were doing. I understand that. And because, they all live on the block, and you've spoken about that. And I know you can't talk about recruits, but I can. And I know you got the kid, was it from Basher or somewhere in the East Valley, the Hildebrand kid, and I know you can't talk about him. But do you think that making significant inroads there can really send the message to Texas, to California, of what we're doing? We're going to get the local kids too, in addition to these other guys, and bring them all together.
Yeah, obviously we want to attract local talent. I think the best teams in the country keep their local talent home. You're not going to bat 1,000, but if you can keep 50% of your local talent home, that would be an unbelievable hit rate regardless of what state you're in. That's an incredible hit rate if they stay at your institution. If you got 50% of the best players, I mean, that's probably better than most people. Most states are in like high 30s, 40s. You're doing really, really, really well if you can hit that hit rate. We're nowhere close to that, but we're fighting for it, and we're, scratching and clawing to try to get there, and I think we're trending in the right direction. I always told people that when we got the job, to win local in-state recruiting was not a 1 or a 2 or a 3-year process. It was a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-year process, because you're basically, these kids, remember, they grew up watching not you. They grew up watching another organization, another team. So who were they a fan of when they were in 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade? That's when you're recruiting them. So like what we've done the last 2 years in the program now is really recruiting the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th graders, right? So those 8th graders are now sophomores. Oh, whoa. All right, we may got a chance now, but it's not as fast as people think. It's not a magical coach comes in and be like, I'm from here, guys. Come join me. Let's all run it together. No chance. You've got to build a brand that they love when they're growing up, and that they say, how cool would that be to go there? And if you can build that when they get there, you got a chance. But it is a long-term project.
So I do play-by-play for Utah State, and they were hiring a coach. Well, they hire a coach a lot, but back in 2020-21, and the athletic director, John Hartwell, he ended up hiring a guy because there was this guy at Florida State that I think is going to be a freaking superstar. How soon did you really hone in on your philosophy of wanting to be a head coach? Because he identified this, and that was almost 7-8 years ago.
17 years old.
I thought I was going to Utah State.
Did you really?
I thought I thought I got the job. I was going. I thought I got like a fake interview there.
He made it seem like you turned him down.
What? No. I didn't. But that changed, altered my career pretty drastically. I thought I had it. I thought I was getting the job. I'm like, holy cow. I called my wife, and I'm like, I think I just did good in that interview. I know they weren't even supposed to interview me. He was flying to go see another candidate, stopped by Tallahassee for a day to interview me. And they're like, my agent was like, you did really good. I'm like, well, that's fun. He's like, no, you got a chance. And I thought I had it, and, everything happens for a reason, though. I wouldn't be at Arizona State. You don't know where it would have led. So, crazy story. You're the first person to ever know that information. That's pretty dialed right there.
Well, yeah, that athletic director kind of let me behind the scenes, but he made it seem like, he goes, yeah, I missed out on this guy. He's going to be great. But anyway, that would have been a change of history, Coach, for sure.
Thankfully.
Yeah. Well, hey, thanks for coming by, Coach. Man. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
There is ASU coach Kenny Dillingham. When we come back, Rich Clark, College Football Playoff Executive Director, is next. Stay with us. Good morning, DJ and PK. It's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Time to get back to the Big 12 Media Days. PK, Tim Lacombe, Scotty G, Jake Scott visiting with Rich Clark, College Football Playoff Executive Director at the Big 12 Media Days at the Star in Frisco, Texas.
So you're relatively new to the role, right? Took over in
2 years, yeah. I'm going into my 3rd year now, but I still feel new because it's always changing, always evolving.
I talked to you at Mountain West Media Days last year,
yes.
And my co-host and I were like, what's it going to be like when you go to 16? And you're like, hey, let's maybe pump the brakes. Now you're here in 24, but boy, depending on the day, there's something new coming out with, it's going this, nope, we're going here. What's it like from your perspective?
It is interesting and exciting and ever-changing, but what I'll say is, I feel like people have really latched onto the 12-team format, and they liked it, and they want more access. They want to see more of it. And there's a lot of goodness to it. I think the key is finding the right number, right? Is it 16? Is it 24? Or do we stay at 12? And that's the journey we're on right now, working with the commissioners. And I still love it, though. Even with some of these changes in the air and the possibilities, it's just been a dream job for me. And college football is, I think, at a peak. It's just so great right now, and it's an honor to be a part of it. And having the CFP as the cap off to a great regular season is just awesome.
There's an old baseball adage, and it's a joke, right? It's satire. If you want to get rid of the close plays at first, just move the bag back a yard.
Right.
So obviously you're just going to have the same amount. I'm wondering, as this thing develops, the Notre Dame not wanting to play and all on BYU figuring, I'm sure you heard from your Mark, they think they're going to be, they should have been in, blah, blah, blah. Do you get to the point where, all right, we're at 12, and, boy, fever pitch. I watched all the games. If you move it to 16, well, you let 4 teams in, well, then you just got a new set of problems. What are your thoughts on that?
I agree. There's always going to be someone that's not happy, someone that feels like they should have gotten in, isn't going to get in. So if it's 16, if it's a 16-team playoff, 17, 18, and 19 probably legitimately had a good shot of being in there, but we had to draw the line somewhere. If it's 24, that's going to be 25, 26, and 27. So I think you're never going to get to the point where you expand to where everybody's happy, but I think you have to find sort of that happy medium of how do we open the access up? Because last year we had 6 teams in the playoff that hadn't been in it before. We had 3 teams in the semifinals that hadn't been in a semifinal before. We like that. We like bringing new teams in. But you have to draw the line somewhere. And, the line's drawn at student health and safety. The line's drawn at how much time do we have to put games on TV? How much do we infringe upon the academic calendar? There's so many different things that matter and that we have to take into account. So we have to consider all those things. But you're right. There's always going to be someone that's not going to be happy. But that's part of the game.
Talking about everybody's opinion on how many teams get in, does your television partner have an opinion, and how much does that matter?
They absolutely do. They have an opinion on it, and we work with them. And there's some contractual things that we would have to abide by if we expand. But there is the mechanism in there for us to expand given our contract with ESPN. So it's something that we can do. We just have to work with them within the contractual bounds of it.
All right, so this question is going to sound a little bit more aggressive than it's intended to be, but who do you work for? Is it the commissioners? Is it like who do you ultimately answer to as the director of the college football playoff?
I answer to what we call the management committee, which is the 10 FBS football bowl subdivision commissioners and the athletic director of Notre Dame. So those 11 people form the management committee, and they are my direct bosses. And then above them is a strategic group called the Board of Managers. That's one president from each of those conferences, one university president from each of those conferences, and the president of the University of Notre Dame. They're the strategic board, more broad guidance, budgetary guidance, things like that. But the management committee is like day-to-day operations. How do we run the selection committee? What do the playoffs look like? What does the format look like? Those are the things that the management committee does. So they're my bosses.
So if the expansion issue isn't a Rich Clark decision, it's a management and that next level group.
Thank goodness it is not a Rich Clark decision. It's really the management committee's decision. They have format falls within their realm of responsibility. So it doesn't have to go to the Board of Managers, that higher group. It stays with the commissioners and the AD from Notre Dame.
Yeah, you'd have to live undercover if that were the case.
I know. I'd have to move every week.
Protest outside your house. We hear talk of, and it's I want to ask you as far as what level of concern, interest, facts, whatever it might be, that the Big 10 and SEC want to get together, and we heard Kirby Smart say, I wouldn't be opposed if we just broke off. How much of that is just talk?
Well, I don't know. I can't say from their perspective, how much is talk and how much is real desire or intent to pursue something. So far, that hasn't come to my level, to our level, that's in the works. But it's hard for me to know how much of that is actual.
The point I'm thinking is it seems like they might have dissatisfaction with your organization because they didn't get a ninth team in or whatever it is.
Yeah, I think pretty much everyone has some level of dissatisfaction with us because everyone didn't get a team in that probably they felt should have. And, I'll be honest, in a lot of cases they have a legitimate gripe because we're talking narrow margins between teams that get in and teams that don't.
Right.
And if you're on a team that didn't get in, you're going to have some dissatisfaction with us. And every conference has somebody that thought they should have had a legitimate shot or a better shot.
When they see you calling them, do they just say, "Oh man"?
Sort of, but that's what I work for.
You seem to be a very nice guy.
Yeah, I take their calls and I listen to them. I've had to go to the conferences and talk about our selection process, talk about the data that we use, talk about the discussions
after
in the room.
After
the fact. And sit down in front of those coaches and have them torch me at the end of the table.
That's combat pay.
That's what you are not kidding. I've been in combat too, and that was put me back in an airplane any day.
Yeah, I was going to say, like being in Air Force and deployed, or being in front of a bunch of college coaches.
Put me back in an airplane, but no, it is good, and it helps us too, right? Because we get to hear, and to be very honest, sometimes they have some good points. A lot of times they're bringing up good points that we need to consider about our process. And you can't take everything because what's good for one may not be good for everyone. We have to decipher and sort of figure out what really is what really are the right changes that we need to make to our process. But we listen, and it's helpful to us, and hopefully we educate them a little bit. But again, they're usually a handful that are very unhappy and just want to know why. Why didn't we get in? Why didn't we make it? You're not looking at the right things. My team was better, and you should have seen this. And it's like, okay.
So do you tell your selection committee, we need to find the 12, or let's just say 12 right now, the 12 teams outside of, or, the automatics get in, obviously, but we want the 12 best teams right now, or the 12 teams that have built the best body of work? Like, what's the ultimate message to your selection committee?
Good question. So the ultimate message is rank the 25 best teams, not the most deserving teams, not the teams that have the best brand. Rank the 25 best teams based on their body of work.
Oh, based on their body of work.
Based on their body of work for the entire season. Now, that's a bit nuanced because ultimately you're looking at their body of work, but you're putting them in the playoff now, and so that there's a nuance there. I think you're not discounting what they had done before, but if a team, let's just say, they started out really strong and they just kind of fell off the cliff, that matters. Or if they started out slow and they're having some momentum and they're on the rise, that matters too. So we look at all of that and we see what their progression has been, what everything in their season, what they have done, what has happened, and we take all of that into account. But it's a hard job. The selection committee members they're all experts. They're former coaches, former athletic directors, current athletic directors, journalists, former players. We bring them together, and they do their due diligence. They watch a lot of film. They look at a lot of data. They have a lot of discussions, which are really amazing, fascinating discussions that they have, and they come up with, I think, a very good product in that top 25. But it's not an easy job.
Do you adjust from year to year, or do you worry about being overreactionary?
Well, yeah, that's interesting because every year we look at things within the committee that we might want to change, whether it's procedural or whether we want to adjust our data. Because football evolves and the things that you look at, sometimes there's other things that you might want to look at, or that correlative statistics that equate to a winning team. But we try not to knee-jerk, right? We try not to just make changes for the sake of change. We really want to be deliberate about it. We have data analytics experts that help us decipher that to see what's the, what kind of changes do we need to make, but they're very subtle. We don't make really sweeping changes to our data year over year. I think if you were to look at it 10 years ago, though, it's probably different than it was, back then, because, the game changes and there's other things that matter probably more. But one thing that we do is we make all of the data available to those selection committee members. They have hundreds of pieces of information that they can look at, and we make that available to them. They all look at the game in a different way. Coaches look at it differently than athletic directors, who look at it more differently than players. But we make it all available to them, and we try not to prescribe, you have to look at this or you have to look at that. It's use your expertise, and then you bring it to the table for discussion. And when everybody is legitimate about their discussion and they're open and honest, that's when you really have the richness of the selection process.
What do you think is the timeline for 12 to 16 if it were to happen?
So we have to have a decision by December 1st for not this coming year, but for the next season. Yeah. And that would be the soonest that we could implement. It may take longer to implement, if we made a change, but the earliest we could implement for a December 1st decision would be the following year. So that's kind of driving the deadline of a decision. And if we don't make it by December 1st, then we kick to next year and we re-engage. And
so no decision is basically 12 teams.
That's right. Which is sort of a decision in and of itself.
Yeah, right.
They're like, we're going to stay at 12.
Right.
We're not ready to move yet. Haven't settled all the questions we have. So we're going to stick at 12, and we'll readdress it later.
Well, you don't have to say this publicly, but just tell us. What do you think?
So
it's just the four of us.
All right, don't tell anybody. We're
going 32. Yeah.
Yeah. If only I knew. But they're 12, 16, 24 are legitimately on the table, and we just don't know. We don't know yet, but we're digging deep. Every time we meet with the commissioners, with the management committee, we answer a bunch of questions, we bring in some of our own data, we talk, we look, we discuss, and then there's 10 more questions, and we bring that.
Right.
And they are very deliberate. I mean, these are professionals, and they're not going to rush into a bad answer or a bad situation.
I just wonder if we have like Democrats and Republicans. Well, the Big Ten says this. Well, then the SEC is going to say that, and then they just go back and forth. Man, I'm wondering if there can be some type of consensus. We're never going to agree with you, and then we have that in the world today.
Right. Well, I think first the good thing is, and you kind of brought it up. If we don't have a decision, we're in a good place. We stick with 12. However, I do believe most of the commissioners and the Notre Dame AD are in favor of expansion. It's just a matter of how much. I think most of them are in favor of it.
Right.
But we'll see, And if they can't, the bottom line is they can't agree to how much, then we stay where we are. And that's kind of how it's going to go. But I think that they will come to an answer. I really do. I think that they want to expand enough that they're going to work to it and figure it out.
How do you weight opinions from maybe Greg Sankey to Gloria Nevarez? You don't want to weight one more than the other, but one's got a little bit more, power behind it than the other. Just being honest.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And by our protocol and our operating procedures, there has to be meaningful discussion with all of the commissioners. That has to happen, and they do that. If there's a change, the Big Ten and the SEC have to agree to that. They have to agree to whatever change we have. So ultimately, you do have some commissioners that have a heavier weight in the decision process, but all commissioners have to contribute, and all commissioners' opinions matter, and they all have to bring that to the table. But the two commissioners from Big Ten and SEC have to agree on whatever the decision is.
There's Rich Clark, College Football Playoff Executive Director. When we come back, more from the Big 12 Media Days. Stay with us.
Queen Carvania stood haloed by the morning sun. An army hung on her every word.
My champions, I have sold my chariot on Carvana. 'Twas a lovely SUV, an inexplicably queenly offer. They're even coming to the castle to collect it. Tonight, we feast. An offer you can feast on. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.
All the insight and analysis of the Cougars, Utes, and the rest of the conference. Live from Frisco, Texas, this is Big 12 Media Day coverage on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Presented by Omada Real Estate. Buying or selling a home? Trust the experts at Omada Real Estate.
Hey, greetings. It's day number 2 at the Big 12 Media Day. Scott Gerard alongside Patrick Kinahan, Tim Lacombe. Let's get it, folks. It is time for another edition of college football nonstop all day today. This is yesterday. You heard from the BYU players and coaches. Today it'll be University of Utah. In fact, Morgan Scalley expected to join us coming up in about 10 to 15 minutes from right now, right out of the gate. Also today, Arizona will be here, Cincinnati, Iowa State, Kansas State, TCU will be here, and West Virginia. Always love to catch up with Rich Rod. Hopefully we can snag him. So, yeah, folks, let's get it. PK, you ready?
Oh, for sure, yeah. Morgan Scalley right out of the gate here in about 10 to 15 minutes. And this is obviously his first one, head coach and all that stuff. He's going to be full of energy. He sells it like no other. A lot of people rooting for him, and I think he's walking into a good situation this year with Devon Dampier returning, obviously. Now, there's going to be some question marks, but there's always question marks, and maybe a little bit more of a question mark because of the unknown, where Kyle Whittingham, and you knew what you were going to get literally for 20 years. You're going to get the same thing, and which was good most of the time, obviously. And what's Morgan going to do? Because it's not that he's adamant, guys, or insistent. He slow plays it a little bit, but he acknowledges that he's going to put his stamp on the program, which is going to be different than Kyle Whittingham's. And he acknowledges that, and he's got no problem with it. He's not over the top about it, but he's going to do it in subtle ways, and it's going to start immediately from day one when they get to camp, and then we'll see how it reflects the season, particularly from the offensive perspective. I think the defensive perspective is going to be a lot of the same because Morgan has been running that defense. But the offensive perspective, bringing them down McGiven from Logan, you could probably speak to that, Scotty, what we've seen differently. And maybe the way to say it is that he might give that coordinator more freedom than the other coordinators have had.
I think that's a fair assessment, and I think Kyle wanted to make sure that there was a emphasis on don't put our defense in bad situations. Run the ball, protect the ball.
Protect the defense was the
phrase.
And
protect the defense, and defense and special teams will get us a win.
Right.
You just don't screw it up.
Right, and that worked a lot of the times,
oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Now they may I think they're going to be a little different in that way, and I'm excited to see.
Coach, you ran into Morgan last night.
I did. Happened to catch up with a buddy from high school, and we're just hanging out on the patio of a hotel, and Morgan came rolling by. And, you know, the one thing you can tell from somebody is he feels comfortable in his own skin. I promise you that. And the title switch to head coach, I told him last night I never got to make that move. So there's a lot of people watching what you're doing, excited for you. And, you know, he just seemed – take me to the press conference. I'm ready to do this. And that's the vibe I get. He's just comfortable.
He's been preparing for this, obviously, for a long time. He knew he was coaching waiting. He knew he was a hot candidate. But there was a little pressure in it because it was not a seamless transition. No. In fact, it was anything but. They thought all along, and I've spoken to some Utah people that thought that was dumb to name him coaching and waiting. And once you did that, you were going to have a rough to whatever degree it would be transition. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. It was not smooth at all. You essentially ran out a coach who was highly successful, and that puts pressure on you as an athletic director, particularly Mark Harlan and the president and Morgan, because you ran out a guy who went 10-2. And, the bowl win, they probably would have won with Kyle there. And stuff happened. We know what happened. And they wanted to move on and all that stuff. Okay, all right. You want to move on. Mark Harlan's tenure, I think, now is tied directly to the success of the football team. There's no other way to say it. I hope he succeeds, Morgan, obviously, and Mark can do whatever he wants there. But the fact is, when they hired Gary Croton, the athletic director was tied to him, and then they both went down with the ship.
Yeah.
That's the way it works.
Yeah. And the other thing, too, is the way that it went down put Morgan a little bit behind the 8 ball in terms of staffing, because with Kyle going to Michigan, Kyle took a bunch of guys with him that would have been a nice safety blanket there for Morgan. Now Morgan keeps a good chunk of them, but still it would have been nice to see what Lewis Powell could have done to help out Morgan in that transition. There's a lot of guys that ended up going to Michigan that would have made that a little bit easier for him.
Certainly, and obviously on the offensive end of it, Jason Beck took most of it. Took everybody but Atawaya, if I remember. So they're going to have new coordinators. Colton Swan has been preparing for this for a good while, but you're going to have new coordinators on both sides of the ball, and that's what happens when coaches leave, obviously. And so all that stuff remains a little bit of a mystery. Now, each of these coaches, except with Jordan Gross, they've all got experience and a little bit of a track record, but it's just going to be new. And see what happens there. I think the comfort of it all is Dampier being back. I think if he's healthy and if he plays like he did against Nebraska, that's player of the year candidate caliber right there. Because he was sensational. Watching that game in the press box, that was, in my mind, without question, the best game that I've ever seen him play. And I saw him play several times at New Mexico because of watching Bronco. And Dampier's a Phoenix kid, so I keep my eyes on those kids a little bit. And he was just off the charts great in that game. And if he can recreate that as much as possible, I think they're going to be extremely competitive. I mean, I'm going to go as far to say if Dampier plays the whole season the way he played, I don't know who the Utes are going to face in the Big 12 title game.
Well, Ben's got something to say about that. Ben Roberts from Texas Tech probably delivered the line of the day from a competitive standpoint yesterday.
Yeah. I don't know who we're going to play.
I like the fact that Bird Ficklin's back there, too, just always waiting in the wings. You can use him as a decoy as much as a threat now because of his reputation. Morgan's got a lot to work with, and the bottom line is I think that dude he's going to be there for a long time.
Well, he should be. He's the ultimate Utah guy. He's, of all the guys, since I moved here in 93, they've had 4 head coaches, and nobody screams, I'm a Utah guy, more than Morgan Scalley. It's just a fact. With the family there. And
I think he said that last night. He screamed it at me.
Living in the area, right down the road from basically off of Highland High. What's it, 10 miles at the most, and grew up going there. And it's the only place he's coached, the only place he played. It'll give all the talk show radio guys something to shoot for if he's a successful Division I football coach. Because in 2005, he was a radio guy.
He was a radio guy.
He did the show right after DJ and PK.
Yeah, he and Alema, the old red and blue show.
Yes, I saw him every day for a whole year.
That is crazy. He and I reversed. He did it on the front end. I'm doing it on the back end.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, and so I'm not going to let him forget it, man. He's an old radio talk show host. He's just like us. He's one of ours.
He's one of us.
He's an alum.
Really is, yeah. But, and that such a genuinely good human being. But make no mistake, the guy has got an edge to him. He coaches hard. He gets the most out of his players. And, I think there was a little bit of a moment where the recruiting world kind of looked at like, what's going on? And then when they've settled in, just looking at – and again, I'm not a recruiting guy. I don't follow the high school scene and the stars, but just based on the level of commitments they've been getting, they're on a heater right now, it seems like.
Oh, it's like 1 or 2 a day. And the stuff that they have to sell is very powerful. And he knows all about that because he's been selling it. And when you think about it, you know, I've joked about at BYU, the last couple of coaches recruiting the LDS kid. Oh, yeah, you know, we'd love for you to go on a mission. Well, how the crap would you know? You didn't go.
Yeah.
Who went on that staff? Pope didn't go. Young didn't go. And they're trying to sell something that they didn't do, right? And they didn't even not that Kevin Young was capable. He wasn't good enough. But Pope is selling BYU, and he blew off BYU every step of the way. He didn't go there. He went to Washington, and then he went to Kentucky. And you're trying to sell BYU as the place to be. Well, it's so great. How come you didn't go? Right?
I wish you were one of the parents.
and so, with that in mind, Morgan went there. He did all the stuff necessary to make himself where he is now, and it's genuine when he says, come here. And they have a lot to sell. It hasn't changed what they have to sell. And he also had the ability, as Kyle did at the highest level, to see somebody at 16 and project them at 20.
Yeah.
And get them into a position and most likely move them to defense. And away they go. The kid Eric Rowe played in the NFL for years. We used to be able to go to practice. They had to practice at the old baseball field the first couple weeks. And I'm first day, and he's with the twos. So I go up to him, and I say, "Man, Eric Rowe, you mean you're on second team defense, and you've only been on campus 48 hours." He said, "Oh yeah, man, I had no idea." Now he ended up starting and then went on to play in the NFL. And then I went up to Kyle, and he said, "Oh yeah, we had him targeted." Well, I don't remember anybody throwing a party when Eric Rowe signed with Utah. But he was a stalwart, and they have that ability to see that in those guys. So the recruiting that they have and the foundation and all the metrics that they use are still there. So I see no reason why the recruiting doesn't continue at the level that it's been.
There's no reason why it shouldn't. There's no doubt. And, you know, and the stability that he brings and the continuity he brings, I think, really settles in nicely with the high school scene. And, Coach, you know that better than anybody. High school coaches want to send their kids to somewhere where they feel stable, where the kid's going to be taken care of, and you know you're going to get that with Morgan.
Yeah, I know he's got just awesome relationships statewide. A guy that, again, you can't help how you feel when you see somebody and they walk up to you and, you know, only you know, but in the back of your head you're like, oh, no, not this guy again. Or, you know, you light up. And people light up when they see Morgan. He's just that type of dude. Yeah. So he's got the personality piece. He's got the know-how. He's put in the time. And now it's just a matter of being able to walk out there, wear the headset, the whistle, and have everything go according to plan. The dude's a planner. I know that last night he told me he feels like they're on schedule. So, you know, that's obviously a coaching term, but feels like they've got things going in the right direction.
But I still go back to what Majerus would say, that the biggest transition for somebody in coaching is that move to the left. And, you know, that's where the basketball coach would always be to the coaches. The assistants would be to his right. So he would say that those 3 feet to the left is the biggest transition that you can make. And until you make it, you don't know. And that's what's going to be interesting. Bronco, and you can ask Scotty about this if you ever talked about it, he would openly say, like in year 2, year 3, I had no idea what I was doing year 1. I thought I did, but I didn't. And Kyle, who has the 11th commandment is show no weakness at any time, he's said that a couple times, that he had to learn how to do it. So you got all that stuff going on here, and see what the transition looks like when the lights are on.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Was he behind me?
Let's
the whole
throw that
time?
headset on, man.
The guy standing
Morgan
right behind
Scalley.
me the whole time, giving me crap.
Expected to joining us. Yeah, we got the. She's going to give us the 2 minute.
We know where to look for sure, right there, man.
Morgan Scalley joining us, former radio host here on 97.5.
Red and Blue Show. Let's go.
He's one of our own, man.
Play the sounder.
If Morgan can do it, I know there's a chance for me.
That's so true.
How you doing,
by the way? You can do anything. I'm the poster child for, hey, you can do anything. If this guy can be successful, you can do it too.
Oh, man. You enjoying making the rounds? I know you're not, really. But at least we get you right out of the gate instead of, interview number 25 when you're running on fumes.
Hey, priorities, right?
I know.
Priorities. This is the crew
Yeah.
right here.
I'm wondering, we've known you for so dang long, right? And we know about you and you know us and all that stuff. Has it yet, or maybe not yet, been a time where the enormity of it all has been something that you've fully grasped? Because you had a lot of people that you're responsible for, but now you got everybody. And there's really nothing like a football coach at the college level, the D1, the amount of people that essentially you're responsible for.
Right. And honestly, I'm so grateful that it got thrown on me by surprise for the bowl game. It got thrown at there. You're into it, and you're responsible for these guys and your staff, and in Las Vegas, where you're trying to keep kids out of trouble and making sure that they make bed check, and all of a sudden you're thinking about staff hires and all the craziness that was going on during that time. So I'm grateful that it was kind of like baptism by fire, bam. But honestly, I've kind of been preparing for it along the way,
right?
So it hasn't been too big of a deal.
A lot of steps.
Yeah, no question.
Your journey has been awesome. I saw you last night, talked to you, had the opportunity to coach myself for a long time, and never made that move. So I know there's a lot of people that know of you and appreciate what you've done in your journey, and B, are really excited for it to unfold. What's the thing you're looking forward to most in terms of the upcoming season?
I just want to, people are asking, what are your anticipations? What are your goals? I want to see the culture show up on the field. That's what I'm excited for. And I'm following, arguably the greatest Utah coach of all time, in Kyle Whittingham. And, it's like, hey, what are you going to do different? I'm like, it's the same recipe to win. It's maybe you're preparing the meal a little bit differently. It's how you're preparing it. It's making sure that I'm true to myself. But I'm really excited, particularly for the guys in the program that really not a lot of people know about quite yet. Yeah, every year there's guys that come along.
Oh, yeah.
And a couple years ago you lose Keanu Tanabasa, you lose Cam at the corner spot, and it's like, who's going to step up? Who's going to be that guy? And lo and behold, you get John Henry Daly that comes in and does an unbelievable job, and Jonah Le'e and some of these guys that people really didn't know about. And that's our job as coaches, is to recruit, develop, manage, and so I'm excited for these guys that are about to show their face this season.
You've had, obviously the press conferences, the fundraising, the public appearances, everything that goes along with being a head coach, stuff that, you're not necessarily signed up for, but it's part of the job. How excited are you to just actually get a whistle, get out on the field, start fall camp, and start playing games on Saturday and move past all this other bureaucratic stuff you have to do?
Well, that's what I miss the most, is having a position group, having guys to teach. And I'll go around during practice and make sure that I'm continuing to do that. But I miss having a position group. I love being on the offensive side. With Kevin being like, yeah, let's screw with Swan here. Here's how you can screw with our defense, and seeing what they think. I've always wanted that. I think honestly, like in football, I think having a year where all you do is just go learn. I wish I had a year of just going and
like being
just in a different offensive coordinator's room each week. And how do they prepare, and what are they looking at, and what are they teaching their quarterbacks? I continue to be a student of the game. There's so much to learn in this game and so many good coaches out there. And I think you just have to have that mindset that you never have the answers, always looking for ways to improve. And I'm enjoying that side of things is being with the offense a little bit more.
On that subject, you have an opportunity to have an imprint. I got to know several of the offensive coordinators, I should say, offensive coordinators. And, the one thing in common, for better or worse, the philosophy was protect the defense. All right? Take that. And there was a lot of success there, so I'm not criticizing it.
Right.
But I'm just saying what they told me. And basically now you have an opportunity to make your imprint. I'm not saying you're going to call the plays and whatnot. You've got the offensive people. But what is going to be your philosophy offensively? Because a lot of fans are wondering, well, will they open it up more?
I gotcha. I've told people this. I want to be explosive offense, no matter what that looks like. Now, having said that, you have to be physical. If you are not physical, this game will exploit you. You'll be found out at the highest levels. You may get by beating teams that are inferior physically, athletically, but ultimately, when good plays good and you're playing dudes, you'll get exposed if you're not physical. And you have to have a complete team to do that. Meaning, it's tough to be a physical defense. It's tough to be a physical defense if all you're seeing every single week is a spread offense that doesn't shift. They don't motion. They don't run the ball. They don't run gap scheme. Like, you have to have complementary football. We had that with Andy, right? We had that with Jason. And so an offense that when you practice every day, you're getting physical. And I think it's just tough for those teams that don't present that team aspect of football.
The physical side has always kind of been the staple. I mean, you talk about your culture on the field. What does that look like? Over time, but culture on the field, what does that mean? Unpack that.
Yeah, so our culture, if you ask anyone in our building, is relentless, smart, nasty ball hawks. Relentless in the way you pursue the ball. Relentless in the way you pursue anything. Smart, situationally intelligent, understanding that an offensive coordinator, a defensive coordinator for that matter, they're different in different situations, throughout a game. A 2-minute situation versus a 4-minute situation, backed up, red zone. All these situations present themselves in a game, and your players need to understand those situations at an elite level. So that's got to show up on the field, right? Nasty is simply a no excuses mentality. Own your role. Don't point fingers, attack the problem. That's the ball, that's the goal line, whatever it is, attack. And then ball hawks, I think it's 22 years now we've had a pick six. So on the offense, that's protecting the ball, and on the defense, that's getting it back to the offense. The ball's meant for us to have.
So throughout the years, everybody just assumes it's the Kyle Whittingham defense, but there's been different iterations of it. Kalani, from John Peace to you. What is your message to Colton Swan? Because the foundation's in place, but you also want him to put his fingerprints on that.
Oh, no question. Go get it, cowboy.
Literally,
that's my guy. Exactly. Yeah, he still ropes. He team ropes.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, he's a tough guy. He's
take
been
the boy out of Jerome. You can't take Jerome out of the guy.
Yeah, and he's given me so much in terms of ideas, and it's his time. Kyle was very good to me in the sense that he was always a sounding board, but he let me do what I wanted to do. The first couple years he was there in my ear, but after that he kind of just let me roll. And so you bet it is Fred Whittingham, it is Kyle Whittingham base defense, and ultimately we've just tried to improve each year, a little wrinkle here, wrinkle there, but so much of good football is fundamentals.
It's funny you say that, Morgan, about Fred Whittingham. Cully Papingan, I don't know how much you know him. He's obviously the defensive coordinator at BYU. Well, I covered him as a player when I was a newspaper guy, so I've known him for many years, and I'm talking to him after he gets the gig, and he references Fred Whittingham because it was taught to Kyle. It was taught to Kalani. It was taught to Gary Anderson. Now those are two guys. Where are they? They're down there. Yeah. So it's like
the influence is huge, right? It's huge, and so much credit to that family, and it will continue to be seen, that influence throughout the years.
That's just amazing.
It really is, considering the longevity and the history there. Can't be more fired up for you. Excited. I will fully admit, and I say this over and over, I am not unbiased when it comes to you.
I don't think anybody. I think that's the cool part.
You're just a good human being, and can't thank you enough for hanging out with us. And go get it, man.
I just appreciate you not sharing all the dirty, horrible stories about Scally. And
I got one.
That's the next segment. Morgan, we wouldn't do that in front of you.
Not
That's
in front
next.
of me, at least.
Yeah.
Right? Not in front of me.
One.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
It's not really bad, but we used to be able to have more access to practice, and we're in the stadium one day, and you got furious, man, and you just cut loose. And the funny thing is that it went stone silent. Oh, Morgan Scalley, wow, he is just irate, and you could hear a pin drop in that stadium. And I'm sure you don't even remember it. And plus, it's echoing because there's not that many people in there, right? And I'm just wondering how you're going to be disposition-wise now that you're the leader, because everybody's eyes are going to be on you.
It's been different. It really has been different. As a defensive coordinator, it is so much about passion and energy.
Yeah.
And your guys seeing you, and whereas as a head coach, I'm all about the how we're doing things. Is the culture showing up? So I'm still competitive as all get out. You're still going to hear me.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it's a different role, and so it doesn't require as much of that.
Yeah. I'm going to miss that.
Well, speaking of somebody that's going to get livid, Nicole's going to come down on us.
She's going to get – okay.
Yeah,
let's go.
She about to PK.
You guys are
right
awesome.
there.
Love you, man.
Good luck. Have a great day.
We'll see you. There he is, Morgan Scalley, right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. One of the best dudes out there. Can't thank you enough. And we're ready to get this thing going. Not a bad way to start the show. All right, we'll take a break, come back. You're listening to Big 12 Media Day coverage. It's all Utah today, BYU yesterday. If you want to catch any of the interviews from yesterday with Kalani Sitake and the Cougar players, just go to KSLSports.com. And our podcasting platforms are all available for you right there, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Football is nearly here, and we're blowing out the budget on our coverage of the teams you can't live without. This is Big 12 Media Day coverage live from Frisco, Texas. Presented by Omada Real Estate. Buying or selling a home? Trust the experts at Omada Real Estate. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back. Big 12 Media Day coverage, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Scott Gerard, Tim Lacombe, Patrick Kinahan. Jake Scott will join us coming up a little bit later on. Wall-to-wall college football coverage. It's essentially the unofficial start of college football with Big 12 Media Day getting underway. This segment brought to you by Shamrock Plumbing. No job too big or too small. Get the personal touch with Shamrock Plumbing. Always fun to catch up with Morgan Scalley as we will continue on right here at Big 12 Media Day.
You were getting hit on right there by the Cougar.
Yeah.
Lady Cougar. From Houston, right there behind the mascot.
I know. I saw it.
Accosted him.
Oh, okay.
Sorry,
that happens to Scotty
it's early,
everywhere.
and I just am barely starting to caffeinate.
Scotty's got,
got the wrong
when Scotty
stuff.
goes out on the road.
Hey, look, all I'd say is look, I show him the wedding ring. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm off the market.
And it's a heartbreaker every time.
It's just in droves.
I've been with him in Vegas. I've seen it.
Can I pick your brain for 1 second?
Please do.
You had Torchy's tacos last night. Your thoughts
on the food?
Yeah,
it was
and
great.
the queso was where it was at.
Yeah, I'm a queso guy.
We did the hillbilly queso.
Oh yeah.
And when you used to eat, Scotty, you would have loved it.
Oh man, I had dreams of that McDonald's order last night.
Yeah, man. Jeez. Every time I'm with this, well, I'm not going to say it. I'll get myself in trouble. But yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, don't do any of that because I want us all to come home and just continue to be employed because I've had a good time hanging out with you guys in Dallas.
Yeah, look, as long as you and Jake don't come to blows again, we'll be.
Oh my goodness,
we'll be all right.
I had to file a PR claim last night for some of the carnage.
I have to admit that stuff entertained me.
The best part about it is you just sit back as things get more and more tense, and as the thing gets more tense, you get more loose.
Well, if you grew up like I did, that's fun. A big Italian family down in the basement. We used to call it the cellar. There'd be 20 people there, all screaming at top volume, and 20 different conversations because nobody listened to the other person.
and from time to time, you'd air grievances, I'm
they
sure.
Just yell.
The airing of grievances.
And he's acting like I'm giving personal. You have to care enough to give personal shots.
Yes.
I don't.
Yeah. All right, so when you look at overall this Utah team, Dampier, certainly a huge acquisition, but if at the end of the season, I don't know about you, Coach, if you would have told me that Morgan's able to hold on to both him and Bird Ficklin, I'd been like, there's not a chance. To have both of them back in the lineup coming up next season is a huge safety blanket for Kevin McGibbon.
Not something that you like. As that started to develop last year, I was like, okay, where's this kid going to go?
Yeah.
Because one of these guys is going to stay and one's going to go. That's kind of how it works. And not the case at Utah. I mean, Coach talked about the culture, Coach Scalley. But if those two guys can do what they did last year, even on a bigger scale, because I think now they're going to work Bird in more, maybe into different types of formations and that sort of thing. It's got everybody on notice, and everybody will have a wrinkle to prepare for every single week in this conference because you certainly know you're going to get Dampier, but you've got to be ready for those Ficklin snaps.
I think this year we find out how good of a quarterback Ficklin is. We know he's a phenomenal athlete. He's already proven that. This kid can run like the wind. There's no question about it.
It's like Forrest Gump.
What's it going to be? When it's a third and long situation, and he'll get an opportunity to show some stuff this year to prepare himself for the next 2 years, and that's what would be really cool. But for now, they've got a good safety valve in Dampier, and just hopefully for him and everybody else, he stays healthy. I'm a huge Dampier fan. Ficklin, I know he's an unbelievable athlete, particularly as a change of pace. In my mind, he hasn't proven, because he hasn't had the opportunity for that matter, to be a big-time quarterback. And I think we'll see that a little bit more this year. And if he is, which I have no reason to think he's not, then that sets them up for the following 2 years. And that's a good situation to be in for those guys. Teams that usually do well, most of the time, have their quarterbacks coming back, which is really cool.
Well, I mean, those two guys, I mean, that's a big reason why. That and the physicality. I think, like, of all the things Morgan talked about, when you say Utah football, like, the nasty stands out to me. Kyle's done a great job of every year just getting his dudes primed and ready to play.
And that won't change.
And that won't change. I mean, that's in the DNA. So the other part of it, and I think it's, Morgan backed off it a little bit because he – it's an interesting phenomenon, but I think everybody that watched Utah football knew that if it came right down to it, you're playing field position. You're certainly not risking putting the ball on the carpet.
Right.
One in the hand, one in the carpet.
One on the carpet.
And so, but I just feel like, not necessarily like a riverboat gambler, but I just think probability-wise, I think you're going to see a little more. Not going crazy, open it up, but a little more explosion.
I anticipate that. The problem with Utah and Fred Whittingham philosophy that obviously Kyle took and ran with it was during Kyle's time, a lot of the time, they had great punters and kickers.
Yeah.
I mean, they had multiple. They had Lou Grozas and what's the Ray Guy. And how do you blame them? They were flipping the field every time they punted. And so I'm not saying have crappy kickers and crappy punters, but he did have them, and he utilized them, and they were effective weapons with Hackett and what's the other guy's name? Wisnowski, a big Australian dude. I think he's still punting in the NFL. Matt Gay still kicking in the NFL.
Yeah, you can go all the way back to Louis Sakota.
Yeah. And so –
just don't say Ryan Kaneshiro.
I think that was
off the post.
Him, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
So you had that going on there, and they took advantage of it. and certainly you want that. But I expect that as I go down the list,
yes,
Morgan is going to take a little more of a wider open. I can't just say wide open.
No, wider.
Wider
that's my
compared
point.
to what it's been. And you should, with these two kids that are electrifying as runners, Dampier and Ficklin. And Dampier, if he can throw the ball like he did in Vegas, this offense has an opportunity to be really explosive. And I know they got to replace the 5 offensive linemen and 2 first-round draft choices, which you don't come down the pike every year. But they've got guys who have had an opportunity to play, and they did play in Vegas. Maybe Nebraska, to what level, the guys were into it. You never know now with bowl games. Guys may we have to be here and go through the motions. Bowl games, if they're not the playoff games, you're not really sure what's going on. As far as that goes, but he was so explosive. So I don't want to say any transition is going to be seamless, because we were told, it's going to be seamless, and it was put in the contract to be seamless, and then it wasn't, right? And so I can't say that this one is going to be seamless, but I do think it has this year an opportunity to be maybe limited obstacles. Look at what BYU did when they went from Coach Edwards to Gary Croton. That first year, we start 12-0.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
And then they lost their last couple games. Staley got hurt. So the horses were there for BYU with Brandon Dolman and Luke Staley. And those two guys, when they played together, they didn't lose a game because they had won the prior 2 games the year before, the last 2 games, and then the 12. And so that seemed seamless until it fell apart the second year. Not saying that Morgan's going to fall apart the second year, but the first year, if you got a bunch of the same guys, you have the opportunity to have some continuity, and then over time those guys leave and so forth. So I think that for me, Utah, when we get into deep in November, should be in the conference race, and strongly in the conference race.
I mean, you even go back to Kalani when he had Ty Detmer as OC. He had Taysom Hill and Jamal Williams that first year, and they looked like a good offense.
They won 9 games.
And then those guys left, and that offense went downhill pretty quick, and then he had to make some hard decisions. So I think you're right. I think that they've got a chance to be really, really good this year. Defensively, they should be good. I'm fired up for Colton Swan. And the one thing in watching Utah State last year, and I mean, anybody watch Utah State, it's not a secret. That offensive line was horrid.
Yeah.
They were really bad. And Kevin McGivern ended up finding a way to put a lot of points on the board and put Bryson Barnes in a situation to be successful, scheming around a inferior offensive line. And I thought he did a heck of a job considering what he was working with to be able to have a efficient offense. And because of that, his creativity, I think, will be fully on display for the University of Utah.
Yeah, and it was, if you want to look at a classic example is the Fresno State game at Fresno.
Yes.
For Utah State to be able to win that game, that was very impressive. Bryson Barnes, I'm pretty sure they had to screw his head back on after the game.
Jeez. And that was every game.
One thing that definitely, you think about making this move for Morgan, because that's, at the end of the day, everybody I talk to, like Utah, you look at their team. I mean, we haven't even talked about Wayshawn Parker, how great he is.
Right.
It really, I think most people are reserving total judgment until they can see Morgan coach a team. But I think you brought up a great point, the fact that he got to coach the bowl game. The way that he described it, kind of thrown into the fire immediately. I would imagine that's a big thing with the first game looming, because they've already gone through game prep. They've already done it, and didn't leave that to this year. I think that was pretty smart.
Hey, you want to learn how to swim, jump in the water. And that's what that Vegas Bowl was. And it was very impressive.
And it did look more wider open, if we're using that phrase today, wider open.
I understand
right? It
did.
Did.
There's no question.
Right.
No, and I noticed it sitting in the press box that Dampier was taking more downfield chances in that game. And, it was kind of I think the offensive coaches knew that they were going. They knew. I know they knew. And so it was like, well, what the heck? Just
Let's have some fun.
Yeah, throw caution to the wind here. and Dampier was healthy. He had that time off and got himself probably the best position health-wise since the first game of the season, and it showed. If they can continue that, man, if they can approximate, if they can get to that level, man, whew,
yeah,
I think they're going to be very dangerous.
And that's the thing. We keep talking about Texas Tech and BYU. Utah has every opportunity to be right there with them.
I totally believe that.
I do too, and so does everybody else. I mean, I just pulled up another. It's Athlon, but I pulled up another preview, and they're in the top 4 in everything I've seen. BYU,
and they should be.
And they should be.
Yeah.
I did my poll that we did for work. I had them at 3.
I think they're 3.
I think the solid prediction for them is 3rd, and they're 3rd because you have to rank them in some kind of order. But in my mind, I can see where the Tech people think, who are we going to play? I get that. I think it could be, if I were betting right now,
Sorsby,
I'd go 50% Texas Tech, and then the other 50 split between the Cougars and the Utes.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That should make everybody at home. There's no favorites being played there. You split it right down the middle.
Well, because I think that's about the most accurate assessment that I can come up with. But these are preseason predictions, too. And 2 years ago, the last official poll that they had was such a joke, they did away with it when they had the Devils at 16.
Yeah.
Nobody predicted them to win it, and they did. Good for them.
The dude that impressed me like crazy yesterday and will have a lot to say about BYU season was L.J. Martin. Like, that guy it's almost Terminator-like. You know, a good kid. He's going to say some, but he is laser-focused.
He's solid.
He is solid. He's laser-focused. So I'm really impressed. I was impressed. I told Scotty on the way over here today, the way just the guys across the board from every school we talked to.
Yeah.
Pretty fun. We'll do it again today, try to make some guys laugh, keep it interesting.
Yeah, they will. They always put their best guys out, as I said, with Scotty and I have been doing this for
That's
so
why I never
long.
got sent.
You were fundraising on the golf course.
Yeah, exactly. I was fundraising while Coach was doing
I mean,
good
Pac-12, which was a conference known for quarterbacks and skill players, right? That's where they made their bones. And you'd run one guy after another. I mean, we had Jared Goff, and we said, hey, Jared, could you do a promo? Oh, yeah, when I'm in town, I listen to whatever station we were working at the time. And, Justin Herbert, Andrew Luck.
Brock Osweiler.
I mean, the list really is an on and on type thing there. That even in the early days, Matt Barkley, and they all want to have fun, and especially when you're young. You got enough time to worry about life later when it just blitzes you, and you're responsible for other people who are much younger than you, and you wonder, what the heck is this all about? Is this the way I was?
The answer very quickly is yes.
Yes.
Probably worse.
97.5 the KSL Sports Zone Big 12 Media Day coverage brought to you by Omada Real Estate. Big thanks to them. Big thanks to all of you for listening as we continue on. Remember, if you want the video stream of today's show and see all these guys up close and in person, just go to our YouTube page. Just search KSL Sports on YouTube or go to KSLSports.com. Either way, you can grab the video stream of today's broadcast, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. Bruce Mitchell joining us. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you? Are we on the zone here?
We are.
Yeah, man.
This is my mom's station, man.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Just top.
The football season is nearly here, and we're getting you ready for kickoff. This is Big 12 Media Day coverage live from Frisco, Texas, presented by Omada Real Estate. Buying or selling a home? Trust the experts at Omada Real Estate. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back. Big 12 Media Day continues on. Scott Gerard, Patrick Kinahan, Tim Lacombe, Jake Scott will be part of it a little bit later on. Of course, we've got the army of KSL Sports employees down here. Why do we need a barbecue here in a couple of weeks? We just pretty much have everybody down here.
Because we're going to see your spot, man. You've been preparing.
Oh, you
backyard.
mean your personal one, not the work one.
PK and I are going to do we've been meeting every week to work on this.
I got to get the
local karaoke bar.
I need to find a karaoke machine. Does anyone have one? Do you have one?
Endless love. You and I are going to sing that one together. I think there is actually, you talked to a couple people. I think there's one that's owned by someone in our group.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
And they were planning on bringing it.
Okay, because I didn't know if I needed to go rent one or not. I didn't have that part of the budget.
If you could properly light the stage.
Were you with us way back? We had one when we first started, and it was a Christmas party, and a husband and wife got up, and I think it was, "You don't bring me flowers" or something. It's like, oh my gosh, can we pep it up a little bit here?
You never even talk to me anymore.
I was not part of that one. I kind of wish I would have been, but
it was rough.
Did she do the?
It was a downer. I can remember being in the Caribbean with BYU basketball, and people were reluctant to get up there to get it going. So none other than good sport Val Hale said, "I'll go." And he went up there and he sang some song awful, but that was the whole point. You're not going to get a record contract here. You're just here to have fun. And so Val took the reins and got it going.
And then after that, it was
yeah, okay.
Still the craziest thing, and I don't know if DJ's back in studio, but it was
texted me, so I think he is.
And so we were in Boise covering an NCAA tournament game, and I was just around DJ. I think it was like the first year I was with the station, and DJ called me, and he's like, "Get down to the hotel lounge right now. You're about to see greatness." And so I walked down there, and it was Brad Larson, who was the Weber State athletic director, or SID at the time.
Yeah.
And he did Rainbow Connection in the Kermit the Frog voice. And brought the house down. I mean, there were a bunch of people. I remember Pittsburgh was playing in the NCAA tournament, and Jamie Dixon was the coach, and I think they had actually just lost in the first round, and their fan base was just drunk. And I'm like, this could be rough. And he killed it. The place just erupted.
Nice. Were you on the team or with Utah when they went to here, actually, Dallas? And
yes, got a great story about it.
They beat Iowa State in the second round,
yes.
I think. And I know Majerus went out that night.
Fuzzy Navels.
And that was
the
he cut
drink
loose.
of choice.
Yeah,
he drank Fuzzy Navel.
He cut loose that night.
That's what he'd always order.
Really?
Yeah.
I think him and Donnie were out. They were.
Yeah, I wasn't necessarily privy to where they were, but I do know that the guy you met last night that took us from the taco place back to the hotel, he and a couple other buddies that I'd played high school ball came to the open practice before the game, when they have the open practice at the NCAA tournament. And Majerus knew I was from here. And so we walk out, my family's there, I got friends, and he walks over to the side of the court, and he's like, "Hey, manager, come here." I mean, never calling me by my name.
Manager.
That would be too respectful.
Yeah.
So I walk over, and he's like, "Hey, my back's bothering me. Would you help me lower my pants and take them off his sweatpants? He had shorts underneath." So here I am as a grown, can I say that?
Grown A man.
Grown A man. Thank you, Scotty. Saved me a fine. And I'm over there on my hands and knees helping him navigate his trousers. And that, my friends,
I would have said no.
was humility.
Did your family see it and your friends?
Everybody saw it. What are you talking about? And in my mind, I think he knew that.
Oh, yeah.
And I think he was going to say, you know what? This is what he really does. He helps me take my pants down.
Mom, Dad, you know what your son's up to? He's taking my pants off. That's what he's doing.
Well, I was running his stuff to the cleaners. I was getting his car. I mean, you were in the battle, so they just happened to see that one little snippet.
Well, there's nothing like interviewing him when he's buck naked. I was done a time or two.
I never got the buck naked. I got the close, but you had the hand over there.
Yeah, the hand.
That was a notorious scratch.
Yeah.
I tell the story of
the reach over.
I'm interviewing Jeff Johnson they beat Air Force, and they remodeled the lockers, but at the time it was basically high school.
At Air Force.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And so everybody, I was just standing there in front of the lockers, and they'd take their shower, put the towel, wrap it around them, and then come out. Right, even though it was all guys in there, it's probably me and a couple other guys. And here comes Majerus after showering. Well, instead of wrapping the towel, he just puts it on his shoulder.
I've seen that one too.
And I'm interviewing Jeff after the game. And he walks right past us, and Jeff totally loses his train of thought.
So
and we were all used to it at that point. It was like,
oh, man.
Every single kid who came out had the towel around his waist and walked to the locker room.
Was it over the shoulder?
Yeah.
He probably knew there's no way in hell this thing's wrapping around me, so I'm bucking it over my shoulder.
Oh. Well, at least then kind of hold it or something if it doesn't go all the way. I get it.
You know the team room down there, right? You know the way it used to be assembled, where that was that team room that we'd meet at halftime after games.
Yeah.
And you would stand literally right outside the door waiting for the thing to open.
Yeah.
One day he came in early, and I went up to the concession stand and I grabbed a couple of those chip beef sandwiches they make there that I kind of like, the barbecue beef. And so I go and he walks down and he saw me eating it and he goes, "Hey, is that any good?" And I said, "I love it." And he said, "Hey, go buy me two." And he handed me like a $20 bill and it said, "Make sure you bring me the change and the receipt. Don't steal from me." You know, gave me that whole speech. So I ran up, bought him, came back down. At this point, he's now in his dressing room, which is across the way. So I walk in and hand them to him, and, you know, he's got it out of the wrapper faster than I can and takes a bite. And he looks at me before I can leave the room and said, I gave him his change, and he said, "That is the worst sandwich I've ever eaten in my life," and threw the rest of it and the other one in the trash. And that was life on a daily basis. That's just one snippet of, like, we could go on a 24-hour tell-all.
I know.
Well, hopefully we're going to get some more players and coaches. Everything's kind of slowed down
I
here.
saw Rich Rod was just standing right here.
Oh, yeah? Where's our guy Stone?
He looked good because he had a suit on. He was chatting up Morgan.
Oh, yeah? I love Rich Rod.
Hey, the guy in the cowboy boots that we heard talking about Witt earlier, that's the mascot.
Of
the Cowboys, Okie State.
Oh.
He just threw his head on and was walking around.
Yeah,
so that's why he didn't know.
Okay, but
see
still.
anything.
Yeah, he took the job at Michigan. He did? Yeah, and he took most of the offensive staff. Oh, I didn't
things
know
you
that.
hear at breakfast. In the breakfast buffet.
You went to Michigan? Yeah? I'll be called on.
I'll be called on.
It's kind of the story of the week that week. Was it December 26th and all that
might
broke?
have been. You know, and I remember when he took the job at Arizona, we were talking to him at Pac-12 Media Day, and I said, how do you go from being a brilliant offensive mind at West Virginia to being a bumbling idiot at Michigan? Like, and you're the same coach. And he started laughing. He's like, you know, it's just crazy how your circumstances can change, and you know you're the same guy, but all of a sudden people perceive you as being very, very different.
Yeah, that's the way that is, man. And
it goes fast like that. Yeah. When the pendulum swings, it doesn't swing slowly. You know, you start to lose kind of that public. You feel it, and it goes whoop.
Yeah,
fast.
You go from Mr. Popularity to public enemy.
So like, we got to get these guys out of here. They're killing our program. I mean, it goes that fast.
Right.
That's why I'll never begrudge a coach getting a contract or making as much money as they possibly can.
Yeah, because I'll promise you this. I always used to say this. You can't win enough to make it feel good because you're just always in pain. There's too much loss on a daily basis and nicks and little things that you wouldn't even think about if you weren't doing it. But it's hard. So, like, as these guys sit down and they make a ton of money, they're in charge of a lot of people, and obviously people care.
Enormous pressure.
Just unreal. Absolutely unreal.
And it never eases.
Ever.
You celebrate for a day or so, and then you're right back at it for the next season.
You never get a day. I mean, you win a game, and you're like, how do I protect this? I mean, we have got to make this pay. I mean, there's nothing like, oh, yeah. You just never do it.
We've arrived.
You're right.
Yeah. All right, take a break. Come back. We're kicking off hour number 2, Big 12 Media Day on day number 2. You've already heard from Morgan Scalley. We anticipate all the players from the University of Utah. We had a big day yesterday with all the BYU coaches and players. That's available for you at KSLSports.com and onto your podcasting platform of choice. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
You're listening to this podcast, so I know you've got a curious mind. Here's a helpful fact you may not know yet. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive save over $900 on average. Pop over to Progressive.com, answer some questions, and you'll get a quick quote with discounts that are easy to come by. In fact, 99% of their auto customers earn at least one discount. Visit Progressive.com and see if you can enjoy a little cash back. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National average 12-month savings of $946 by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2024 and May 2025. Potential savings will vary.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.
All the insight and analysis of the Cougars, Utes, and the rest of the conference. Live from Frisco, Texas. This is Big 12 Media Day coverage on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Presented by Omada Real Estate. Buying or selling a home? Trust the experts at Omada Real Estate.
Time to talk a little Arizona football. Joining us now, defensive end Tre Smith from the Arizona Wildcats. Kind enough to carve out some time for us. Tre, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I appreciate you asking.
Man, you know what? We were just joking off the air. This isn't really any player and any coach's really ideal situation to go around and talk to a bunch of media schlubs. But it is a chance to talk about your program and talk about your team and your teammates and what you've got building there. Fun team last year. Expectations now. You know, the reward for having a good year is people expect a better year. How are things there in Tucson getting ready for this season?
It's been great, man. You know, we're all just working together as a team, constantly building with the standard set, and now it's just the standard is the standard, you know, maintaining that every day. And I just want to go back and say it's an honor to be here talking to you guys. So, you know, I appreciate
We appreciate
y'all.
that.
I saw that you had a season-ending injury pretty early last year.
Yes, sir.
How are you doing? How's your health? And obviously one of the most impactful edge rushers on the team, so it's going to be important for you to maintain that health. Tell me how you're feeling.
I'm doing great. I'm back in everything and feeling great, man. Stronger than I've ever been, faster than I've ever been, so I'm ready to go. And I would say it's all divine timing, you know.
Always.
The Lord has a plan for all of us, so.
Cool. I like that. The Cats, you know, they've had an interesting run the last few years. And me being – and I grew up in Phoenix, as I said, so I went to SU, but I still, you know, I follow both teams and all that stuff. And, you know, we know Jet Fish was there, had a good season, and then Brennan comes down from where you were, San Jose.
Yes, sir.
And first year not so good, and then last year a big surprise. And my thought, and really this applies for both of the schools in my home state, is you got to find a way to be consistent. Now, you guys won 10 games last year, right? And you got Fafita back, so expectations are high. What have you guys been doing once the off-season conditioning stuff started and everybody got back to campus to make sure you could actually build upon that and not level off?
I would say the most important thing, right, is to learn from last year and learn from previous years, but don't let that get to your head because that's not who we are. We're not that team anymore, you know. All the pieces are different players. I was going to say the standard's the same, but it's not really because we're always looking to be better. Yeah.
You got your sixth year, right?
Yes, sir.
So this is your sixth year.
Yes.
So you're kind of the older statesman. Do you enjoy that role of being kind of like the veteran leader, the guy that takes guys under your wing and kind of shows them the ropes?
Yeah, I feel like, so honestly, that's an interesting question you asked because I just kind of found that answer within myself this year. And I would say that relates to my purpose overall as a human being. Like, as a younger guy, I didn't really have to do that. I always did the right thing and just was like, yep, I did my work, so I'm good. And now I'm understanding that I'm being put in these positions for a reason because I've been given that capacity to have a positive impact on others. And this goes even just beyond football. So I know that was a long answer, but
no, I
yes,
think that's great.
I'm blessed and very privileged.
Well, I mean, that shows a lot of maturity, too, because I know even though you've been playing college football for a bit, still, I mean, you're a young dude, and to be able to have that knowledge about your overall purpose and role, not just as a player but as a leader in that locker room, shows a lot of maturity on your part. Where does that come from?
I would say a lot of it's probably my upbringing. Just, you know, my parents, I feel like they raised me to be a well-mannered individual to the best of their ability, and otherwise just life experience, you know. Like, this is my 6th year. I've learned a lot, been through a lot of hardships, and I didn't know what to think of it at first, but I'm blessed because it's what formed me into who I am. It gave me perspective, you know.
The quarterback situation there, obviously solid with Fafita. What kind of leader is he? Because I can tell you this, I love watching him run around and dodge the rush and find somebody downfield and deliver it. But what kind of leader is he?
He's a great leader. He's somebody that can touch every piece of the locker room. And this is my favorite thing that I look for in people. It's because of his heart and who he is as a human. Like, we all know he's a dog, right? Everybody knows that. But he is such a great guy, and he knows how to talk to people. He knows how to get guys going the right way. So I think that's the biggest thing about him.
Since you've been in college for a while, what have you been studying? I assume that maybe even this year might be taking some advanced work.
Not this year, actually. So I got my degree last year in interdisciplinary studies with sports and society emphasis. I reclassified my major this year just to really focus on ball and lock in for this last year. But I should have graduated end of 2024. But because I transferred, it got pushed back a little bit.
So what do you hope to do? I mean, obviously everybody wants the NFL, but you got to have a backup plan.
Yeah, you know, man, I can't say that I have a set plan, but I'm a guy that's always thinking about something. So I'm kind of just trusting in the Lord and having faith it's all going to work out. But I know, just like this role, you know, kind of what I was saying about football earlier, I didn't necessarily know I was going to be in a position of leadership. It kind of just happened for me. And I think in life it will be the same because I believe I'm here to inspire others, truly.
Just stay away from the media. Nobody likes those guys, man.
Especially the ones from, like, the Phoenix area generally.
Hey,
what's up with that?
We got Taye coming up. Any good stories? You want us to lead? You any questions you want us to ask him?
Let me think of a question for Taye Brown.
Somebody put him on the spot, but radio friendly, of course.
Nah. I don't know. Taye Brown is a great guy. Okay. I admire him a lot too. Same thing. Great guy and really hard worker. He's an extremely great human.
Awesome. Well, we'll let you go, man. Congratulations on the season, getting that 6th year, and go out and have a great season.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate
Good
you
luck.
all.
Great stuff. Tre Smith right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone, as we continue on with the Arizona Wildcats. And coming up to the headset right now, linebacker, 3rd-team All-Big 12, and just had a great season last year with that Arizona defense. And again, Taye Brown, kind enough to join us right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. All right, so we gave Tre an opportunity to throw you under the bus, and he's like, nope, not going to do it. Good dude, good leader, great guy, and he goes, I don't have any stories to share. Just know that he's a good dude in the locker room. When you have that kind of camaraderie, what does that mean to your team?
It means a lot. I mean, it definitely helps, especially later in the season. When people are dinged up, people getting tired. It's definitely great to rally up and come together as a brother and just remember all the hard work you put in and just make sure it doesn't go to waste.
You look at this defense, you lost a great secondary, right? Which it's funny because, I'm a Phoenix guy, and it seems like the U of A, for whatever reason, just always had great defensive backs over the years and really locked down guys. And you guys, I think you led the country in pass efficiency. You had 31 takeaways, which was like almost 2.5 a game, blah, blah, blah. Now those guys are gone, and we just spoke to a guy who's up front, and you being the linebacker yourself, thinking maybe you guys need to take more of a we got to get after it type of thing because the guys behind us they're not going to be maybe they're a little newer this year, so get the pressure on the quarterback starting from the front to take the pressure off those guys on the back.
I mean, that's definitely always the goal to get pressure, take the stress off the guys in the back. But I feel like losing such great guys, we also brought great guys in the portal, and we had some guys step up, some younger guys step up. So I mean, I feel like I'm really excited to see how they do this year, and I'm not really like worried about our secondary. Really, I feel like we're gonna have a really, really great secondary again, and looking forward to it.
There's a lot of different ways to attack things, but one thing I like in terms of the word used to describe you is diligent. One of your coaches said, the fact that you, even after going through, things you'll go back through, take notes, be very, very diligent. Yeah. Where'd you learn that? Where'd you get your work ethic?
Man, I just feel like growing up, I've always been told to just keep my head down and work. Just by my parents and by my brothers, keep my head down and work. Because I feel like I've been overlooked my whole life, and just keep your head down and work. Everything will work out. So I feel like I just taken that and ran with it, and I feel like it's worked out for me.
I'm a big fan. I covered him when he was at San Jose State, but Brent Brennan is a really good coach. He's really great to work with. He seems like he relates to this younger generation very well. What really jumps out to you when you see him as a coach and what he brings to the table?
Yeah, he's a great coach. He's a great person overall too. He's the type of coach to want to know about you as a person. You know your family, your girlfriend, know everybody. And I feel like that's really important, just to know your players on a deeper level besides football. I feel like it just helps the relationship grow and it helps the team grow. And he also just brings juice every day. Even some days he probably he doesn't feel like bringing it. He's tired. He still brings it every day because we're counting on him and he's counting on us.
You came down with him from San Jose, right?
No, I did not.
Yeah. So it was before?
I've been at U of A. I came in.
I'm looking at Tre Smith. That's right. Yeah. No, he went to Red Mountain. You went to Hamilton.
I did, yes, sir.
Yeah. And then you've stayed the whole time.
Yep.
How did that work as far as why you chose the U of A? And then, obviously in this transfer portal, then when you have a coaching change and all, kids can scatter or whatever, but you stayed.
Yeah. I feel like me personally, I'm not really big on leaving. Nothing wrong with it, but I just feel like I'm not big on that. I'm big on just staying with it and just hearing what Coach Brennan had to say just about the program and stuff. I originally came to U of A because of the family atmosphere it brought, and it was great, and the brotherhood and the culture we had going on. And then and what he was talking about, it was pretty similar. It was pretty similar, if not better. So I feel like just hearing that, I just wanted to trust in him and believe in him and trust in the coaches that he brought in with Coach G and Coach Bringell on the defensive side. So, I feel like I'm really glad I stayed. I made the right decision.
Well, you talk about your defensive coordinator, Danny Gonzalez.
Yeah.
The dude is a mastermind,
yeah.
But it's a very complex defense. How hard is that to he's a disciple of Rocky Long and that crazy defense. How hard is that to learn? Because you're kind of the voice of the linebackers. You're kind of the quarterback of that defense. Is that how much responsibility do you have to essentially run that complex defense?
Coach G, he puts a lot of faith in me into making the right checks out there. Defense definitely is complex. At first learning it, it was definitely challenging. It didn't really make sense to me. It took probably took a month or a couple weeks to get the basic stuff down, but it's very conceptual. So I feel like all the basic stuff, it ties into all the complex stuff. So once you know all the basic things, it's just it all tie in. And now it's pretty simple, because I'm just in the film room in the off season, just making sure that I know my stuff so I can help out the younger guys and everybody else on defense. So I know my job, the D-line job, and the DB's jobs, so I can go out there and play to the best of my ability.
When you watch that tape, because the way that you approach things, and you look to me to be a really detailed dude.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that stand out last year as you watch yourself that you want to improve this year? And even if it's minor things, right?
Yeah, definitely. I'll probably say just finishing plays, because I'll be in the right spot. I'll be in the right spot, make the right read, but sometimes I'll over pursue it and I'll get cut back on, or I'll take the wrong angle or stuff like that. So I feel like just finishing plays will definitely be super beneficial for me.
Appreciate you coming by.
Awesome.
Good luck this season.
I appreciate it.
Tell Danny hi for me. He's a good guy.
Thank you.
He actually, when he was at New Mexico, there was I do the play-by-play for Utah State.
Okay, cool.
And we were playing a game down there around Thanksgiving, and he invited the broadcast crew to go over to his house for Thanksgiving. I'm like, I'm not going over to your house for Thanksgiving, but genuinely good dude.
Yeah,
and fired up for you.
Awesome. I appreciate
good luck, man.
Right, have a good one.
Thank you too.
We're going to shift gears, go from Arizona and that defense to West Virginia. Talk some offensive line. the Iron Man of that West Virginia offensive line, kind enough to join us right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
It's okay.
You're
big.
all good.
You're a big guy.
You're all good, man.
It's
No
all
worries.
Good. I like the fact that you're already moving stuff.
Yeah.
Just knocking things
that's
over.
That's the job.
Human beings, tables, what
You know, we had a Nick Krahe. Did I say that right? Or
yes, sir.
So we had a coach once who put on a headset and he just snapped it in half. And he's like, "Oh, sorry about that." I was like, "Geez, that's a $300 headset." So we're used to getting thrown around a little bit. But talk about this offensive line there at West Virginia and what it's like playing for a Rich Rod system.
I love Coach Rod, obviously, but we also brought in Coach Trickett this offseason, so that's been good. Going back to the old style of play, but bringing in guys with experience that we brought in through the transfer portal and everything, and also having a good freshman class is going to help us, and we're really kind of gelling together right now.
I've heard great things. Never been there, but I've heard great things about the atmosphere. At West Virginia. Talk about what it some of the things that stand out or make that kind of unique.
I think when people talk about the atmosphere of West Virginia, you got to think about having 60,000 fans in the stands, singing country roads after a big win.
Well, it's almost heaven, right?
Yeah, almost heaven. So that's the number one thing that comes to my mind.
You watch that soccer team, you're like, "Hey, man, that's our song. What are you guys doing?"
Yeah, come on. But that's also kind of cool, because the song gets put out there to the whole world, and then
that's your brand, baby.
Yeah, that is our brand for sure.
Last year, obviously, his first year coming back, he'd been there several years prior. Brought in, I don't know what the record is, but it seemed like West Virginia, in terms of transfers, had to be at the top of the list. And I'm an Arizona guy. I've spent a lot of my life in the state, so I watched U of A when he was there. Know that he's just a brilliant offensive mind. So I watched West Virginia to see what he can do. I thought that, you went through a rough stretch in the middle of the season, but I thought the end, the Texas Tech game got away from you. But even the ASU loss was very, very close, and you'd won a couple of ball games. So the point being, what's the mindset going into this season coming off his first season where I thought there was some progress made along the line?
Just kind of buying into the culture, but also just showing improvement on the field. I mean, I knew what we were capable of last year, and we didn't show that. So, just kind of trying to do that this year and really playing up to our abilities.
You're, you play one of the arguably tougher positions with contact time and time again, but you played a team-high 873 snaps. What does that say about you as a player and the toughness that goes along with that?
I never want to get taken off the field. I want to be out there every single snap, every single game, really just kind of putting my best effort out there, and I'll be on the field no matter what. I'll make them drag me off the field, honestly.
I love it, man. And the one thing, too, about a Rich Rod offense, everybody says as a player they want to play fast, but the amount of conditioning that goes into having to play that fast, especially a man of your size, that's not an easy thing to do.
Everyone says they want to play fast until they truly play fast like this. But, the conditioning part, our strength staff does a great job putting us through the runs and everything. So I think just being ready for that is big.
What's your music go-to? Like, what is Nick when he wants to, let go?
Are we pregame music or just music every day?
I would say just every day.
Road trip music.
Country. I'm country music.
You're country music
100% of the time.
Like old school country or newer country, or where are you at? Give us specifics.
I like
who's your
2010 country. So like Jason Aldean, I'm into Luke Combs too, obviously, but I can also go to George Strait or anything like that.
Old Dominion.
They're not bad. Not my go-to.
Not your go-to.
Kenny?
Nah.
Kenny Chesney? Yep. That's pretty good. Seen him in concert a couple times.
Yeah, so have I.
He's part of the Chesney Army over there. How many times you seen him?
Oh, probably 15. We were in Vegas once, and it was at the Hard Rock. They don't even have it. And it's a real small venue. It was the hotel, and they had a little concert hall. And so we're right there. You can the sweat can pour off his body. In fact, here we are, right? So we're in front, and that's Kenny, right?
Yeah.
And that's obviously my wife. And so we went to see him 2 nights in a row.
Okay.
Right? And the second night, we were right there. And he's singing, and he's right there, right? And he's singing, blah, blah, blah. All of a sudden, he takes the microphone away, and he says, looking over my left shoulder, he puts his hands by his heart, and he goes, "Thank you." I thought, what the heck? Is he flirting with my wife? Well, I didn't know. She's like this, giving the heart sign. And right in the middle of the tune, he takes the mic away and says, "Thank you," right during the middle of the song. So he gave her and me, for that matter, a lifetime memory.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
I had morphed. I was a classic rock dude, but I'm totally country now.
Yeah.
And if I hear Amarillo by morning, I'm standing up right now.
Great
song. Oh, that's old school right
well,
there.
He said George Strait.
Yeah.
He said it. I'm using his
Waylon
his
Jennings.
Yeah, I've listened to some Waylon Jennings before.
Ramblin' Man.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Yep.
That's
song.
the one.
Great song.
And then, of course, John Denver.
Yeah.
Bring it full circle.
When you look at this team and expectations, it really feels like the momentum's brewing there in West Virginia. You got to be excited about this upcoming year.
Oh, I'm pumped, man. I mean, coming off last year, didn't have the year we wanted, but this year, just kind of trying to right the ship and everything like that. Yeah.
Well, let's go, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for coming by. Good luck and knock some dudes around. Should be fun.
See you in Utah on Thanksgiving weekend.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah,
That's
we'll
the
be
end
here.
of the season there.
Hey, when we come up with pregame and, get in your face, you start talking country music, you'll know it's us.
Yeah. And just October 10th, I got one request. Just kick the crap out of the U of A because I'm an ASU guy.
Okay. We'll do.
Do you say that after Tay leaves?
Yeah. Thanks, Nick, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Nick. For having me.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break, come back. This is fun, man. I always love talking to these guys. Just good dudes. It's all right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
You can't live without. This is Big 12 Media Day coverage live from Frisco, Texas. Presented by Omada Real Estate. Buying or selling a home? Trust the experts at Omada Real Estate. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. It is Big 12 Media Day. Sky Gerard, the coach Tim Lacombe, Patrick Hanahan, and you can't talk Big 12 football or the Big 12 Conference without bringing in the legendary.
This guy is a legend.
Barry Tramel. How are you, sir?
Well, I'm great. I'll be honest with you. I'm having a swell time just meeting all my friends from Utah. Had dinner with all my Oklahoma people, and not all that committed to the league. Apparently, they drove home at 6:30 last night.
Oh, because Oklahoma State was done?
Yeah, because OSU was finished, and I don't know what they were thinking. But anyway, so I actually ended up having dinner with 3 Utah writers last night. So we had a great time. So got to see all my pals at Brigham Young. And, I don't know the Utes crowd that well yet. But I got to meet some of them. So, I enjoyed it. I learned a lot about the state of Utah last night because, I love geography. So they lectured me. They informed me about I had all kinds of questions about Logan and Ogden and St. George and where's
Provo?
I'm
he knows
pretty well
Provo.
versed on Provo. Where's Utah?
There.
Is Utah Valley and St. George? Oh, Orem. Okay,
Yeah.
Orem.
It's just right off the freeway. It's the university exit.
So you
When
pass
you
it
get
on
off,
your way
it's
to BYU.
right there.
Oh, that's right next to Provo. What's where's
Cedar City.
Cedar City. Cedar City's the one
Southern
I was
Utah,
thinking.
yeah.
That's the one I was thinking of. Cedar City. Yeah.
Well, all the appearances you made on radio, you're pretty much an honorary
he is,
member of the
100%.
Utah media.
His voice is very familiar.
Yeah, I listened more, so that's kind of how I got
Tim
into
coached basketball at BYU and Utah, and then joined us here
in April.
a couple months ago.
Fantastic.
But I've heard you enough, through the years because I just listened to these guys all the time when I was coaching. I was like, that's Barry Tramel. Let's grab him.
Sometimes you're born with things that you'd think could be a detriment, but you can turn them into a strength, and one of them's my voice. I got about the most oaky voice anybody's ever
I think
had.
it's the coolest voice on the planet.
You can't run from it, so you might as well embrace it. So, when you get this old, you got to stand out somehow.
Yeah, that and the white hair. You've had that white hair for a good long while. Yesterday, our guy, Brett Yormark, right off the bat, now's not the time to talk about Texas Tech. Well, he's supposed to come on, and my first question is, when's it going to be time? All right, you don't want to talk about it here, but you said now's not the time, which implies that there's going to be a time. Yeah. What did you think of all that give and take? Because you got I looking on social media, the Texas Tech media thinking they're hitting them hard, and then the outside media, come on, guys, quit being apologists for this. So you got that going back and forth.
First of all, you're right, Brett. Straight on, the Big 12 screwed up. The way you handle that, if you don't want to take questions all day, I understand that, but you come out and say, listen, I know we've had a rough summer with Tech. Tech went through some trouble with Brennan Sorsby. No fault of theirs. But we worked through it, and this is, give a statement and explain it, in the most polished way you want, and then say, and we're not going to talk about it anymore because we got football to talk about. It's not fair to to drag it through. But just to say, we're not going to talk about it. This is not the time. This is not the time. You said, when is the time?
Yeah.
Yesterday was the only time.
And then get rid of it. Then it's done.
Yeah, and literally there's not a better time to do it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only time. And they passed on it. Well, I mean, does Brett Yormark have a monthly press conference?
Yeah, I know.
Is he on the teleconference? No. I mean, that was the time. But then you have somebody asked a decent question to start with, and that's when he said, we're not going to talk about it. And then the yard bird from Lubbock, he somehow pulled in OSU's paddle people.
Oh, yeah.
They're
and then
catching strays.
Cincinnati.
And, somehow the tortilla, the tortilla flats problem, and then tying all that in and you got the victim mentality. The
yard bird.
Listen, the guy deserved it, but it was still a little icky because of the way Brett did it. He's the guy's on one end and Brett's on the other end of the.
And what do you do? You tell him to come closer or
no,
something?
he says
stand up.
He walked all the way to the other end.
Oh, is that what it was? Because we're down here. We're on the opposite
He walked
end
all the
doing
way
radio.
to the end, and then and the guy didn't stand up. And you're supposed to stand up, and
okay.
The cameras can get you, and he didn't stand up. So Brett said, "Stand up." And he didn't say this, but like you're supposed to. And then he said, and repeat the question. And the guy must either memorize the question or repeated it.
I think he had it written down, didn't he?
I mean, maybe written down or either one. I didn't see if he's sitting right but close to me. But he repeated the question almost verbatim. And Brett, like any smart interviewee, he took the little piece of thing that he could really attack and forgot all the rest, which, I mean, I don't know what to say about the paddle people myself. But Brett had said we're more than 12 or something, talking about the. And the guy said, how are tech people supposed to believe that?
Right.
I got very little patience for victims mentality.
Yeah.
That just wears me out.
It's so prevalent.
So, but Brett said, you're misquoting me. I didn't say that. I said we're strong at 16. Thank you for your question. And that's the only thing he addressed. The whole thing was a fiasco.
I appreciate your question.
Yeah.
The craziness of all of this, though, is I think all of us just assume that, the judge would say, you can't play. Come on, it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
and
that's
it
right.
seemed like the one thing that actually brought everybody together in college football was a disdain of Texas Tech and this Brandon Sorsby. For once, everybody seemed to be on the same page.
Everybody in America agreed because it's just so black-letter law, right? I mean, it's ingrained in our society. Back when baseball was king, people learned in 1920, you can't do this or it could kill the game. And then all of a sudden, they did find a good judge. Now,
that may have been the judge asking the question yesterday.
I could neither confirm nor deny whether it was. But talking about what Brett could have done, I thought it was one of the Big 12's finest hours because look how often courts are deciding stuff and we don't have – it seems like whatever anybody wants they get in court.
Yeah.
Just find the right judge, the right court, you're golden.
Right.
And the Big 12, the little old Big 12, not the conglomerate conference of the Big 10, not the crazy conference of the SEC that rules the world, the Big 12 had the legal smarts to hire lawyers to, run a counterplay and beat those guys.
Right. They had to.
I was lucky. I actually had, talking about court, one of the guys that's won in court this summer is Owen Heineke, the Oklahoma linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
He played 15 minutes of lacrosse in 22 and then transferred to Oklahoma, went out for the football team, made the football team, and now he was seeking an extra year because that 15 minutes of lacrosse counted against him. NCAA denied his appeal, so he sued. And he got and he won the injunction. Actually, the judge is a friend of mine, Thad Balkman, who's a BYU grad.
Oh, yeah.
And he'd been in Oklahoma forever, was in the state legislature. And Thad's a really sharp guy, and we had lunch, and he explained why he ruled for Heineke, and he said there's just too much exceptions by the NCAA. He said he's a pretty easy case. Pretty easy case for him, he thought. But anyway, the guy who defended and won that case for Heineke, I had never met him, the lawyer. I met him at the court hearing, and he said, let's have lunch someday. We scheduled a lunch, and we literally had lunch 2 hours after the Big 12 filed that federal case. So I got it fresh on his mind, and he explained the whole thing to me, and he said he said it was a brilliant judicial, legal maneuver. He said not everybody would think to do this, but he said as soon as I saw it, I said that's exactly the proper move, and that's probably going to carry the day. Turned out it did. And so that's something to be proud of for the Big 12. I mean, they
stood up.
They should,
and they had to.
And they should stand up and say, "Listen, we all love Tech. We all love Brendan Sorsby. We wish him well, but we can't gamble on our own team's games." And we found a way to work it out. So I thought they should have done that also, but they didn't.
So when you look at the conference, I think everybody, even without Sorsby, has Texas Tech 1. BYU 2, and then maybe Utah, Arizona, like 3, 4 in that. Would you agree with that?
I think when Sorsby got flipped out, I think I'd move BYU to the top. I think Will Hammond's a good prospect, but if Will Hammond was all that in a bag of chips, two things. They wouldn't have spent $5 million on Brendan Sorsby, and they wouldn't have tossed their reputation out the window in trying to keep him. So, I mean, I think he could be a really good quarterback, but I think we don't know that yet. We know Sorsby's good. I watched him several times last year. He's really good. He was going to help Tech. That was going to be a big upgrade. Now I don't know if Tech will have an upgrade at quarterback. Maybe they will, but I don't know that they will. BYU is going to be a lot better at quarterback this year because Bachmeier, second year, sort of got thrown in the fire as a true freshman and played really well and solid, but he's going to be way better this year, I think. So I'm pretty optimistic about the Cougars.
Yeah. What do you anticipate from Morgan Scalley?
You know much?
I don't know much about him.
You followed, obviously looked up his resume and where he's been. He's obviously been right there with Kyle.
And let me just say this. More than 50% of what I know about Morgan Scalley, I learned last night from my Utah guys that really educated me on stuff.
Well, an Oklahoma guy at the Tribune where I used to work is on the beat, Jason.
That's right. Jason, that's who I had dinner with, plus the two KSL guys who cover the BYUs and the Utah.
Our digital guys.
Yeah. So, but I like Scalley's I like his youth. When I hear about a long-time assistant coach, I always think of somebody older than 40. Is he 40? I think
46.
He's 46?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I like the fact that he's still in his prime.
Sure.
But has been around forever.
Yes.
That strikes me as a good combination. And keeping your culture. I know the Whittingham departure was strange and fractured and all kinds of political stuff going on, which I don't claim to understand. But Scalley was able to keep most of it together. Fortunate that Whittingham, I think, went to a place that had a quarterback. Yeah. So it was sort of clear that Dampier was going to stay.
Yeah.
I think Dampier's better than Bryce Underwood. So, the 5-5 deal.
He might be right now.
Yeah.
Maybe long term. NFL-wise, because Devon's shorter. But I get your point. He's ready to go today.
I think he's a better college quarterback. I
don't think there's any question
Michigan played at Oklahoma last year, and I know he's a true freshman, but paying him a ton of million.
He might need to get beat out by Carr's younger brother,
he just wasn't
the Notre Dame
good.
guy. Right.
He just wasn't that good.
Right.
Yeah. So, but I like Dampier a lot. I assume Scalley's defense will be solid. So I like Utah pretty high up. And Houston, I would add to the list and make a top 5. I love Willie Fritz. All he does is win ball games. And Arizona is my favorite story. Noah Fafita is my favorite story in college football.
Stayed loyal.
Nobody does that.
Everybody jumped ship.
And if somebody said you're the creator of the universe, you get to decide who wins the national title this year, I might say Arizona. I think it would be fabulous if that happened at Arizona, just because this is a guy, he's had 3 seasons as a starting quarterback. 2 of them were great seasons. 1, he wasn't very good. That sophomore year, he went down. But freshman and junior, he was really good. And anybody in America would love to have him and tried, I'm sure, to get him.
I think he's a great passer. He's a great college quarterback. The only reason he's not in the NFL is he's too short.
Yeah, he's a short
kid. If he was
kid.
6'2", he'd be in the NFL right now.
What is he, 5'10" or so?
At best.
You know, I covered when he was a freshman, they beat Oklahoma in the Alamo Bowl.
Yeah.
When a wild shootout. I mean, it was sort of an interesting. Him and Jackson Arnold were up against each other, and Fafita clearly was better.
Yeah.
And
He's a very good quarterback.
So I love Fafita in Arizona.
I got a tidbit for you that you might be able to use somewhere down the line on Morgan Scalley. So his senior year is Urban's last year, right? And they bust the BCS and they go and do what they did there on all that great season. Urban goes on to Florida, blah blah blah. Well,
it's 04, right?
Yeah,
they beat Pitt.
Yeah, they hammered him in the Fiesta Bowl.
Yeah.
And they hammered everybody that year. So Morgan's not sure what to do. So in 2005, we had at the time, so DJ and I have been we're in our 25th year of doing this crazy morning show, right? So we were, we would have been 3 years into it. They had a thing right after us. They call it the Red and the Blue. They had an ex-BYU guy and an ex-Utah guy. And for a year, right after our show, the ex-Utah guy was Morgan Scalley.
Really?
The sports radio guy.
He did a year of radio.
Yes, he did.
It was. Yeah.
And
so I saw him every day. He was on.
Oh, man.
Yeah, we went from 6 to 10. That show went from 10 to noon.
Maybe I'll ask him about that today. I'll ask him if he made the right decision getting out of radio.
Yeah, so we had him on this morning because, of course, we know him. He's a local kid, played local high school ball.
Okay.
So we've known him almost, since he was 14 years old, and I saw him every day. So we said, "Yeah, you're one of us, man. If you can do it, that gives us a chance. We can do it too.
We can be a head coach too."
And obviously, he took a sacrifice in terms of the money because we're just killing it over
so
here.
So that might be something you can
that'd be
put
fun.
out there. Yeah,
that'll be fun.
You
You
think
think
for the whole year?
Let me ask you. You guys think? Will he be able to create or maintain the same kind of just consistency that Whittingham did for 20 years? I mean,
I think the only thing that would stand in the way is NIL money, and they got this private equity thing, and I'm sure you've heard about that. As long as they can be competitive financially, I just don't see a reason why it would drop off.
No, I don't either. I don't either.
And culture's the key. And when we talked today, we asked Morgan kind of what he's hoping for, and he said that the culture shows up on the field. So he's invested in the right things. He's been doing it so long, and I do think there's parts of it too that he'll, like every guy, they'll come in and put their own little, their own personality into the deal. I think it'll be a little more loose. I mean, I think Kyle liked things super tight, but at the same time, I think that culture will be that'll be the difference.
You'll cover that Oklahoma at Michigan game, right?
Right. I'm going to the big house.
Yeah, and obviously that's Kyle's second game. Huge game.
Yeah.
Well, Morgan admits this. The defensive philosophy, which is at BYU right now too, it comes from Kyle's father, Fred Whittingham, who's deceased. He played, was a defensive, played in the NFL a little bit, but longtime defensive coordinator, coach in the NFL, coached at BYU under Lavelle Edwards, went to Utah under Ron McBride. So everybody, Kyle, Morgan, Gary Anderson, who was at Utah State,
Oregon
and then
State,
Oregon State, and
Wisconsin.
Yeah. He's a Utah kid, and so he learned it. Kalani spent 10 years under Kyle, so he learned it. And now Gary is essentially, what would you call him, a special assistant at BYU? Yeah. So he's on the BYU staff. So and Kelly Papinga, who's now the defensive coordinator, first year. His brother Brady played in the NFL a long time. He said, I've never coached under a Whittingham, but we run the Fred Whittingham defense. And Fred has been gone for 20 years now.
Oh, wow. Was he a high school coach?
He played at BYU a little bit, then left, went to Cal Poly as San Luis Obispo. Played in the NFL, was on the Saints and I think Cowboys. And then he was with the Rams, Was he with the Raiders?
I think it was just the Rams.
The Rams. But he coached at BYU under Lavelle because he played for him. And then he was a coordinator, and Kyle was a linebacker.
So he was Lavelle's coordinator.
Yeah, and then he was also at Utah under Ron McBride, which is when they hired Kyle out of Idaho State. And then Fred left, and then Kyle took over as a D coordinator.
So now that defense is finally being exported out of the state of Utah.
Yeah.
To Michigan. Well, that's interesting.
Well, Barry, we appreciate you coming by, man.
You bet. Enjoy it all the
Legendary
time.
Barry Tramel.
Thanks for having me, guys.
The legend himself.
Yeah.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. I'm sure you'll hear that voice on our station throughout the
on our show.
On your show. Look, we won't steal. Lloyd would never do that.
Thank you. You too.
Hey, joining us now, let's go back to Arizona and chance to chat with
small guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm glad he's sitting by you if you get out of line over there.
Yeah, I'm a Sun Devil. I graduated from ASU, but I'm going to be proper right now.
Tristan Bounds, kind enough to join us right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. By the way, how's the ankle?
Ankle's great.
So talk us through the story. Like, the whole drive, right? Broken ankle?
No, just one play.
Just
the whole drive sounds better.
I like the story of the whole drive, but you played a game-winning drive with a broken ankle.
Yeah, I played one snap. Really, thanks in all honesty to Chuba May, our left guard. I got kind of rolled up, and before I really knew what was going on, I just stuck my hand up like, hey, somebody help me up, and that dude is so strong. He just yanked me up off the floor. I was on my feet before I even knew what happened.
Wow.
And so
he bench pressed you, deadlift you.
Yeah, just literally pulled me off my feet up on the ground. And at that point, I'm already up. I'm standing. I kind of take a second look at the down distance situation, and I hear coming off the sideline our hurry up tempo. So really not a ton of thinking into it. Just kind of we got to go. This is an important situation. Ended up being a game-winning drive for us. And so got my stance, lined up, tried to do what I do to the best of my ability. I don't know if you've seen the clip. It didn't look extremely pretty. I was hopping. But I got enough of a hand on him for Noah to get the ball out, got a first down.
That's all
that is. I mean, so much that we talk about is detail, in football, but I think grit has got to be right there too. I mean, the average fan turns the TV on when they're ready and watches a game in air conditioning.
No doubt.
Somebody misses a pass and catch it. But at the end of the day, the physicality of football and what you're involved in on a play-to-play basis is just crazy. Talk about the physicality at that level.
Yeah, I mean, so just to be honest with you, that's probably my favorite thing about football is the physicality.
I would be too if I was as big as you. Yeah.
And it's what draws me to it. I think it's extremely interesting to play a sport where the things that I do on Saturdays would get me arrested if I did them anywhere else.
That's the best way to say it.
You put your hands on people the way that we train and strive to put our hands on people on Saturdays, you'd be doing 5 to 10 somewhere. And we're rewarded for it, praised for it. So, I think that's awesome. But our O-line coach, he does an excellent job setting the standard and a mentality of we're the baddest dudes no matter where we are. We'll put the ball down in the lunchroom, Frisco, Texas, with the Chicago Bears. That's, we're going to go do what we do and do it to the best of our ability, and the outcome will be the outcome.
Tell us how you ended up in Arizona. You're a Maryland kid who played 3 or 4 years at Michigan.
4 years at Michigan.
And then you end up in the desert.
Yeah. Definitely a change of pace, change of scenery. But for me, it was really about the people and the culture, much less the destination. I had an amazing experience my time at Michigan, but after that 4th year, felt like it was time for a change and got to get around Coach Brennan, Coach Dagey, Coach Oglesby, as well as the guys that, I'm around every day, Noah, Alexander Deuce, my right guard, both of whom I met on my visit, and just felt like a place that I could call home pretty easily. And, looking back on it now, couldn't have made a better choice.
This offense took a jump up last year. Noah Fafita had a phenomenal year. Expectations are very high for your team this year. What's the vibe in that locker room coming into this squad or this year?
Yeah, I mean, even last year, when the preseason stuff came out, and I think we were picked dead last, the vibe has not changed. It's about us Coach Daigie sets that mentality of our goal is to be the best and most explosive offense in the country. And so that's still the vibe, still the goal. And our guys are always hungry. You know, the easy trap to fall into is there's preseason hype and to start looking at that and think that you've made it or you're good. And that's the furthest thing from the case. You know, we're extremely hungry. Last year did not go the way that we wanted it to. It's not enough to be good. We want to be champions. So, you know, there's work to be done to accomplish that, and I think everybody in the locker room knows it.
What do you do off the field for fun? Like, what's your go-to?
Oh, and this is live too, right?
Oh, yeah.
Perfect. So,
and the camera's right there if you want to just, you know.
Well, I told Alex Deuce that I was going to say this, and he was like, you're not going to do it. We play a ton of Call of Duty Zombies, and we call him 40 Downs Deuced because he is always on the ground, always needing to get revived. And I just want to make sure all the listeners at home know that he is terrible at Call of Duty.
Yes. See,
but
this
yeah,
is the good stuff.
Our offensive line, we hang out a ton. We go see movies. We go to dinner. We'll go. Noah is awesome. Got a nice spot. We all go over there and hang out, swim in the pool. Same with our line coach. Got a big house with a pool. We all go over there, watch the UFC fights. Our room spends a ton of time together, and really enjoy getting to be around those guys.
You like the
as much as
winters?
we do. Sorry, say that again.
The winters?
Oh my goodness, it's the best winter. I mean, I was in Michigan for 4 years.
Yeah.
You like dread going outside in the winter there.
You walk out and go like, what? What is this?
Yeah, winter is sunny and 75. I had not experienced that before I got here. What a blessing.
Yeah, but what is two-a-days like in July?
Oh, it's awesome.
Okay.
It's our edge.
There you
go. It's Coach Daigie says all the time, if you and your buddy get in the sauna, who's going to get out first? And, you know, we train in the sauna, so it's going to be them. When Saturdays in September roll around and we got a noon kick and it's 96 degrees and the UV's 11, I promise you we'll be more ready for that than anybody else just because of what we have to deal with in June, July, and August.
Love it, man. Hey, you know what? I always love chatting with offensive linemen because you guys are real, and you're the ones actually doing the hard work out there. I appreciate it.
Hey, just keep it on the field, though. 5 to 10. We don't got time for that
No,
off the field.
definitely not.
All right.
Off the field, consummate professional.
That's
Awesome.
right, my guy.
Hey, thanks for coming by, man.
Yeah,
we
thank
appreciate
you.
it. Great conversation. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone, as we continue on right here at Big 12 Media Day. And, man, that is you can wrap that hand around like twice. That is a big human being.
Thanks for coming on.
Apparently, the guy could hoop it a little bit, too.
Yeah, I had to ask. I mean,
6'8".
I ain't doing my job.
But, yeah, we've got all kinds of stuff.
Hi, how are you?
Joining us now, right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone, Chief Executive Officer for the Peach Bowl. Kind enough to join us, David Epps. How are you, sir?
I'm fantastic. How are you guys? It's great to be talking college football again, isn't it?
It is. It absolutely is. And the Peach Bowl, obviously, tremendous bowl game, a lot of history. And I know that you guys are excited to really get this thing going.
We are. We've been worried about another kind of football the past 8 weeks in Atlanta with the World Cup, so we're really excited. We sort of unabashedly call ourselves the capital of college football. So when we get to this time of year and we really get to start seeing it, talking about it, the energy grows. So we're really excited about what's going to happen with our Aflac kickoff game Labor Day and then finishing up the season with a quarterfinal in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl.
Yeah. My only complaint, and it has nothing to do with the Peach Bowl people, as a loyal Arizona State grad, that was targeting on Texas 2 years ago, and I'm going to stand by that. I'm going to take that to my grave. So
I will tell you, what such a phenomenal game, and I can't disagree with you. I didn't have the stripes on that day, but
the big brand gets the big breaks.
I tell you, that was the great thing about that game, though, was I think it was a little bit of a coming out party to remind everybody that the Big 12 can play with anybody when they're put on that field. And that was a special night. And, gosh, you're never going to see another Cam Scattaboo again.
That guy's something else.
Yeah, bull in a china shop.
Yeah. You got the kickoff, Baylor versus Auburn. That's a great game to kick things off.
Yeah, we're excited about that. But through our history in this game, we've done a variety of conferences and teams. But for us, a game like this is really interesting because you have two teams with huge upside. The expectations for either of them is probably not to win a conference, but you look at the talent, look at the moves they made in the offseason. sort of the momentum that's built around the transfers and the new coach, and almost to the same point about Texas Arizona State, you get to create a good data point between two solid sort of middle of the conference teams with huge upside to see how ACC and the Big 12 compare.
So the history of the Peach Bowl is one that's fascinating through the years. But what is it you guys are trying to? What's the message you're getting out? This early in the season here with the Big 12 kicking things off.
Well, we're here for a number of reasons. One is that we feel like all the P4 conferences are important to us. We don't draw distinctions and say these are superior. We want to make sure that we're ready and prepared to host any and all of the teams that could be on our board. And ultimately for us, our customer is making sure that the CFP and the conference commissioners and the head coaches and the athletic directors, we create a good, positive, frictionless experience for them when they reach the postseason. Because we know that the bowl world has changed, obviously, and it's not a bowl week. This is a business trip more so than it's a reward for the players. We continue to try to focus in Atlanta. We as I said, we sort of unabashedly consider ourselves the capital of college football. We want to give a little taste of Atlanta, but we want to serve those constituencies, and that's the message we start telling this time of year, is that we're here to help support college football, make it better, make it easier, and when it's all said and done, make the teams that came through our game on the way to a national championship feel like it was the best experience they've ever had in a bowl.
That first game, not preseason, but pre-conference game, I guess you call it, how long does that take to get the teams, and what's the process as you go about setting those games up?
Man, that's a great question. There's no one path, which is you'd love it if there was a clear process. 2 years out, you talk to this person. But it really comes down to a perfect storm of scheduling, availability. In many cases, it has to do with teams maybe dropping somebody off their schedule. Maybe there was a home and home that they wanted to turn into a single neutral site. In this particular case, this was a home and home. Auburn came to Baylor last year, and we approached them and said, well, what if we took your game and moved it to Atlanta, put it on a little bit of a higher stage, a more elevated stage, Saturday the 5th, ABC. Yeah. It sort of elevates the entire process.
No question.
Gets the players and the coaches focused on something really important for us. So this was a case. And also for us, the neutral site games are really challenging these days, because with all the conferences going to 9 conference games, and if you have a 10th that's a rivalry game that's outside of your conference, schools really only have 2 to work with. Mm-hmm. And in most cases, coaches don't want to schedule a losable game,
we understand.
Right, for those 2.
Right,
And so the pickings are slim when you're trying to find these. So what we did is work with Auburn to say, what if we can bring this to Atlanta, and then we can funnel some of our NIL spend through the Auburn student athletes to help us promote it. So doing real traditional what NIL is supposed to be. Let them help us sell tickets, promote the broadcast, promote the events. And that turned out to be a separator, a differentiator between how other cities do these games and how we're going to try to do them going forward.
Well, that ought to resonate.
We think it will, but if college football has taught us nothing, it's probably not going to look like what it looks like today 3 years from now, but we feel like we're building a better mousetrap so that if things continue the way they are, we can hopefully attract some more teams into Atlanta.
I know you have your relationship with AFLAC, and I know you guys have raised a lot of money through them as well.
We do. Our charitable mission for the Peach Bowl as a whole is not only on the bowl game, but it's also on the AFLAC kickoff game, which subtitle is Kickoff for a Cause. And because we use that game to help raise money to support childhood cancer awareness and treatments. And so over the past 6 or 7 years, we've ultimately invested almost $25 million in childhood cancer awareness and treatments. And AFLAC is obviously very committed to that. So it was a perfect marriage. And September is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. So the fact that we play this game Labor Day weekend, all those pieces dovetail perfectly. And, I like to say that if we do well, then we can do good. And
Yeah.
we want to continue to do good in our communities and use college football to make more of an impact than people expect it to.
You know, no peach jacket. Is there like an official peach jacket for the Peach Bowl? Because it always seems like when you see the bowl guys, they're always wearing the different color blazers.
You know, I laugh because I've been with the Bowl 32 years. And when I started, there was actually a peach blazer. But we started having to give people glasses to keep their retinas from being burned out.
That's happened the last couple of days, just different people.
Oh, there are a bunch of walking out here. So
yeah.
I remember in the early 90s, we said, you know what, let's just go to a blue blazer.
Smart.
And everybody universally said, done, let's do it. And so we're happy to.
Hey, we appreciate you today in that blue blazer, man.
That's good.
Hey, thanks for coming by. We really appreciate it. And we'd love to get a team out there because I'd love to get to Atlanta for sure.
Well, we'd love to have you, and hope you guys have a great remainder of Media Days.
Awesome.
Thanks
you
for
so
stopping.
much.
Appreciate you guys.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone, Scott Gerard. The coach, Tim Lacombe, Patrick Kinahan. That's David Epps, Chief Executive Officer of the Peach Bowl, right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. All right, let's get back to the players as we stay with the theme of of Arizona coming through once again. And joining us now, let's go to a wide receiver, Chris Hunter, the third.
Yes,
Hi, Chris.
sir.
How are you?
Doing? I'm doing great. You know, having a lot of fun out here.
What's it like having another year with Noah Fafita? Like, I'm sure his DMs were blowing up at the end of the year. A lot of people trying to pry him away, but to have him back for another year, what does that mean for this offense?
I think, you know, that's just a testament to who he is as a person, you know, having enough trust and feeling like, you know, what we have to run it back one last time is more than enough. So, you know, I have all the trust and confidence in him, and to have like a great quarterback like him, it makes my job easier. You know, I feel like he's the best quarterback in the nation. So, you know, to have him is very special.
I'm sure your DMs are blowing up too, and you've been with the team since 2022, so you've had opportunities. What were those combinations like conversations like between the two of you, saying, you know what, let's finish here?
Honestly, it was, you know, I think him and our OC were one of the first ones who was like, you know, I'm bought in, I'm staying, and I think it's much easier when you see like a quarterback of his caliber letting you know, like, hey, I'm in it. Like, let me know what I need to do for you, like, to have you here. Let me know. Like, he's always looking out for people. So to have that trust and have that, I don't know, bond with him, you know, I've been with him. We came in the same class. So naturally I'm like, you know, if those guys are here, you know, I feel like I'd be a fool to leave. So
it looks like there's an opportunity for somebody to be their leading receiver because the two leading receivers from last year are gone, right? Now you got a couple of guys along with you, yourself, and these other guys. How do you handle that competition? I mean, I know it's a friendly competition, but everybody wants to be the man, and you want to be T-Mac. You know, who doesn't, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, I mean, it was a star receiver, and there's going to be somebody that Fafita's going to like. Who's it going to be?
Yeah. I think naturally that competitiveness only elevates everybody in the room. So naturally you would say, like, you know, you put your talent against anybody else, but, you know, all those guys out there, like all our receiving core, those are my guys. You know, those are my boys, and any one of them can step up any day of the week. So I can't step up in front of you right now and be like, oh, it's for sure this, that, it's for – because I feel like that'd be doing a disservice to what we're kind of building and our bond as a receiver group. But we have a lot of guys who can play, like a lot. I think this is one of the deepest receiver rooms I've ever been a part of. And naturally, you know, I think it allows, like, for example, me and Tre, who are here right now, to step up in a bigger role this year, to have more opportunities. And that's all you can ask for.
You just, like, make sure you bring lunch over to Fafita and stuff and do those kinds of things?
I mean, nah. You want to keep it authentic. You don't ever worry about that. You know, at the end of the day, he has to trust you for you to get the ball. So you just being yourself around him and naturally creating that bond will allow him to feed you on the team. And, you know, we're going to do big things this year as an offense, so I think everybody will be fed.
You're coming off a redshirt season. Is that right? Did you play last year?
Yeah, I played last year. My redshirt year is my freshman year.
Oh, your freshman year.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. Yes,
I just saw the redshirt. So in terms of your chemistry with him, it's always been pretty good. Is this time of the year, are there things you can work on in terms of that, just the chemistry and cohesion as a group and also with the quarterback
Is that something y'all are working on right now?
Yeah, 100%. I feel like if you feel too comfortable this early, you're setting yourself up for failure. It's always little things, you know. We're doing routes almost every day. Maybe we didn't like the angle on this certain route. Maybe we felt like the timing on this one still a little off. Still a little small things you need to work on. So, yeah, we're still always fine-tuning things to make sure we hitting on all cylinders. Because if we could look really good now and then expand upon that by season, you know, that's setting us up for success.
Well, Chris, we appreciate you coming by, man.
Yes,
good luck this upcoming season. Looking forward to catching up with you down the line.
100%. Thank y'all so much. God bless.
There he is, Chris Hunter, wide receiver, University of Arizona, right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. All right, we'll take a break. Been at it for a bit. We'll get back to the players, the coaches, as we are live here at Big 12 Media Day in Frisco, Texas. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
The football season is nearly here, and we're getting you ready for kickoff. This is Big 12 Media Day coverage live from Frisco, Texas, presented by Omada Real Estate. Buying or selling a home? Trust the experts at Omada Real Estate. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Big 12 Media Day continues on, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Scott Gerard, Patrick Kinahan, the coach, Tim Lacombe. And while we have a moment, let's give away tickets. We may be down here at Big 12 Media Day, but it still remains a Win Ticket Wednesday. Caller number 12, 801-575-ZONE. That's 801-575-ZONE. And you will win a pair of tickets to attend the Days of 47 Rodeo coming up on Tuesday, July 21st. Great seats still available. Go to UtahDaysOf47Rodeo.com or just be caller number 12 right now, and you will have a chance to win. Coming up here in a moment, we'll have a chance to catch up with the athletic director of the University of Utah, Mark Harlan. Expected to join us coming up here in just a moment. Oh, look at this.
I'm going to Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A gift cards.
I got one right down the street from where I live. Yeah, give me yours.
No.
You don't eat anymore. Give me yours.
Oh, that's not true. Some good protein in that.
Somehow he'll find a way to get these by the end of the day from us. Nobody loves himself a good pimento like my guy over here.
Any participating Chick-fil-A restaurant.
That means in a... I guess if an airport, maybe. Hello.
That would be anywhere.
There we go.
Okay.
I wonder how much. I'm sure they only put like $2 on there.
We're still on the company.
Oh yeah. No, that's true.
That would be inappropriate.
You don't blow this on this trip.
Business trip. Rookie. Oh man, we've had some fun. I'm excited to see who else we get to talk to today.
Boy, we've got the insight on Arizona and a lot of excitement around that program.
Well, that's just awesome because second week of the season, Arizona at BYU.
Oh yeah,
1:30 in the afternoon.
Hello.
It'll be hot. That is just a gigantic game. I'm looking forward to sitting in the Lavelle Edwards press box watching that game firsthand. I'm super excited for that because those are two contending teams right off the bat, man. One's going to be up, one's going to be down. By the time we get to dinner time, I mean, it's not a crushing blow, but still you want to get off to a good start, and that's the second week. And normally we have to go a lot of times through 3 weeks of slogging before we get to something real. But that's week 2.
It feels like that Houston Texas Tech game.
That's another one.
Yeah, in week 3.
Right off the bat. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Friday night. I'll be planting my butt cheeks right down on the couch watching that game. Looking forward to that game too.
Cheeks.
Yeah. Nothing like conference season.
Oh, yeah, I know. And that's the thing. A lot of times we just have to grind through those first couple weeks of Stephen F. Austin or whoever.
Right.
It's just like, let's just get going here.
Yeah, BYU's playing Utah Tech. The Utes are playing Idaho State, I think. And who the Aggies got?
I think Utah State's got Idaho State week 1.
Oh, okay. Arizona has NAU.
Yeah.
Hopefully my Lumberjacks can pull the upset.
Who was it yesterday that has Weber? Is it ASU has Weber? First game?
Colorado?
Colorado, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So, but and I think you're going to see more of that as the CEO of the Peach Bowl mentioned. You know, a lot of these conferences now going to 9 games, and sometimes you got to have that A non-conference game. So that's 10 quality games.
Right.
So you're not going to have. I think the these bye games are getting squeezed out a bit.
Which would be great. And to me, that would be one of the benefits of expanding the playoff and having the conference winners being the AQers, because then and also too having basically like the Big 12 pretty much being guaranteed of getting at least certainly 2, 3, or 4. So if you lose one of those games early, it's not that big of a deal if you get your you-know-what together and proceed down the line. So that would be an advantage. I think that if you're going to water down the regular season, you got to spruce it up with bigger matches and bigger games.
Scheduling's fascinating, and they said, the fact those preseason games you're working around teams that don't want to play anybody competitive. Like you want to have a glorified. A lot of coaches want to have a glorified scrimmage start.
Yeah.
A team that you don't have to even think about any chance of losing the game, regardless of what you put out there.
Right.
And so that's what they're giving up, and that's the struggle. But I do love the fact that there are some marquee games played early. I remember in '85 when BYU played in the Kickoff Classic, clear back, way back when I was living here at the time, and they played in the Kickoff Classic against, I want to say Boston College, but I don't know exactly.
Boston College, and the Cougars had just won undefeated the year before, so there was a lot of hype going into that.
There was a ton of hype. So so those early games in football, while rare, are cool.
President Bosco was the quarterback.
Yes, I'm sure he's got those kids in Ohio just running in circles.
Well, it's been a week now.
Love you, Rob. Glad it's you, not me.
So as we continue on looking at the early part of the schedule, certainly that BYU Arizona game is going to be absolutely huge. But look, there's going to be some opportunities for this conference to make some statements. I mean, even talking to the guy from the Peach Bowl, that Baylor Auburn game. If Dave Aranda wants to stay employed there at Baylor, they're going to have to find a way to probably play well, if not win that game against Auburn.
Yeah, because you talked about how yesterday their schedule, and I'm looking at it right now, at BYU, Texas Tech, at Houston. There's nobody going to have a tougher closing 3 games than the Baylor Bears. Yeah, the Devils got who they got on the 12th, the second week. They're at Texas A&M. Probably not expected to win that game, but if you could pull it off, certainly that would be awesome.
Is there a, looking at the crew of teams that are here today, is there a team that you look at that could be making a jump up this year? I don't see Cincinnati being that team.
Certainly not going to be Iowa State. Half their town moved to Penn State.
Yeah,
and the other half just moved.
Yeah,
because it was over. The run was over.
Like I like Jimmy Rogers, but I think that's going to be a tough sell there.
I think I would look at UCF.
Yeah,
a team that really, really surprises. There's a bunch of teams in the middle that you can't look at if they win 9 ball games and win 6 in conference. Be super shocked. Right?
TCU strikes me as a team that will have something to say.
But they're usually decent, so I'd go.
I like Sonny Dykes.
Sonny Dykes, a great offensive mind, no doubt about it. Been doing this a long time.
He got a transfer from Harvard that threw for over 5,000 yards.
Yeah.
That ball will be
took some shots at the quarterback on the way out.
Yeah.
Joe turnover prone. So if you're going to basically be glad he left, the new guy you got coming in better be good. But usually good offensively. Yeah. I would still probably go UCF. Their non-conference is Bethune-Cookman at Pittsburgh and Georgia State. So decent chance for them to go at worst, obviously 2-1. But, and pressure's on, too, because they haven't been in a bowl game in a couple years.
Yeah.
So.
And, that's a school that got a nice little taste there of some success, and that's a fan base that probably doesn't like to go backwards. So,
no,
nobody's buying Rich Rod.
Not to that level.
I think 8 wins could.
Well, if they got 8 wins, if you're at Rich Rod, I probably no one would say that publicly, but I'd sign up for it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because that's a step in the right direction, clearly. And then at that point, you're building something, and you've got a lot to sell. Now, they got Robert Morris, Ohio, not Ohio State, Ohio.
Ohio, yeah.
And, of course, they always play, well, not always, but Pittsburgh is a rival.
While we have a moment, things are kind of slowing down here a little bit before we get another wave. Mark Harlan, as we mentioned, will be joining us a little bit later on in the program. But let's take another break. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Big 12 Media Day coverage brought to you by Omada Real Estate right here on the Zone.
Of the Cougars, Utes, and the rest of the conference. Live from Frisco, Texas, this is Big 12 Media Day coverage on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Presented by Omada Real Estate. Buying or selling a home? Trust the experts at Omada Real Estate.
Big 12 Media Day, Jake Scott, Tim Lacombe, Patrick Kinahan. It's time to dive back into some Utah football. Joining us now, linebacker for the University of Utah, Johnathan Hall. Johnathan, good morning. Good to see you. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing amazing. It's great to be in Texas right now.
Texas is home, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, it is.
Near Houston?
Yes, sir. For sure.
So the humidity when you walk out, that just feels really good to you.
Yeah, I'm used to it. So
right.
It's not,
I mean, to guys like us, it's kind of a drag, but I get it.
No, for sure. I'm used to it, so it's nothing to me.
Talk to me about what's going on right now in the locker room. Things kind of starting to form for a season that everybody's excited to see because it's the first time in a long time without Kyle Whittingham.
Mm-hmm. Yes, man. Coach Scalley, he does an amazing and a great job about team camaraderie. And we all are like family. We all talk outside of football. We all, live next to each other. So this season, we are so close. We got a lot of group of guys that love the game and love football, and we'll go out and show it this season.
Morgan Scalley's still around, obviously has a promotion, but he was your coordinator for many years. And Colton Swan, who was a linebacker coach, which is a position you play. So I would think from the linebacker perspective, it's got to be a smooth transition since you've been coached by him since you moved down from safety.
Yes, sir. It definitely is a smooth transition. And also, I will say Coach Swan, he does an amazing job about learning and really teaching us everything that we need to know that is different. So I will say we're fine on both ends for sure.
Do you expect Coach Swan to put his own kind of, the signature on the defense? I'm sure that's a stamp. That's exactly what I'm looking for.
Nah, for sure. He took over some stuff with Scalley, but he definitely has his own type of style, his own type of – it's a whole, it's the same, but it's different. It's his way. So we loving it, man. We are enjoying it. And he tell us play fast and physical, so –
You're a playmaker, man. Made a ton of tackles last year, flying around the field. As you're watching your tape from last year, and I know you're a detail guy, what are the things that stand out that you want to get better at?
I definitely say I want to be more of a leader on the defensive side. You feel me? This spring, I definitely can see that all the guys, they'll look toward me, or all else fails, all the guys on defense look to me. You feel me? I'm the leader of the defense, so I'll really say just me taking on that role, and you feel me being the best I can be as a leader, for sure.
Yeah, you got a lot of experience, almost 2 years of starting experience, and add on another about double that in terms of playing. And so you speak of yourself as a leader, as you should, because you've got the veteran experience. Sure. But has it just crept on you really fast? You're a senior now, Jono.
Yeah, man, it didn't flew by, man. Me coming up to Utah, it was a big risk. Just coming here definitely just changed my life, and I owe the world to Utah and University of Utah. They done so many things, and this season we will have a great and amazing season, and I can't wait to get it started.
I know you guys are very team-oriented, but from an individual standpoint, how do you measure success for yourself? Yeah. Is it stats, or how do you do that?
Me, I'm not a big stat guy. I really don't care too much about the media. I really don't care too much about stats. The main focus for me is definitely just having that team, like a team win, or like anything team orientated. That's where I really find my joy, because anything that's just me, I had 10 other guys right next to me to help me out. You see what I'm saying? So I definitely say just a team accolades, I will say, for sure.
Off the field, what do you like to do?
Yeah.
I mean, we get to watch you tackle and,
Right.
got 10 tackles against Texas Tech last year. Are you flying around? But off the field, what do we find you doing?
Man, you can find me chilling right there. Lance Holtzclaw, he's my next door neighbor. So we be chilling all the time. I love to fish. I love to cook. I love chilling with family, man. I ain't gonna lie, I'm just a real laid-back guy, chill. I don't really go out too much. I don't really talk to too many people, so I just be in my own world, to be honest.
Since you've been in Salt Lake for a number of years, you've obviously made the transition, so you've got that down. That's taken care of. But how about when you were just a young kid, basically, when you're coming out of high school down there in the southern part of Texas, coming all the way up to the mountains? You made the transition, so it worked, but how was it?
Really? I will say the coaches, they do an amazing job of just having us, you feel me, we all get homesick. And I got homesick a couple times, but I had coaches that was there to come to my dorm and just talk to me or just call me over the phone, or they make it really welcoming when you first come in, for sure. And then all our teammates, when I came in, we had Vele, we had Sione Vaki, we had Cole Bishop, and they was the leaders to me, and they kind of just took me under their wing and was like, hey, this is how you do it, this and that and the third. So I really didn't have too much time to just dread about home, because I was just in the film room just practicing the playbook.
Staying busy.
Exactly. So I definitely say it's super welcoming from the coaches. They do a very, very good job.
Well, Johnathan, we can't thank you enough for stopping by. Good luck with the season coming up. Oh, what do you like to cook, real quick?
I like to cook some chicken Alfredo. My biggest thing, I love to cook steak.
Oh, man.
Easy for me.
Oh, yeah.
Invite me over.
For sure, yeah.
Hey, Bar W beef, man. That's the stuff you need.
No.
Good luck, Johnathan. Thank you
so
very
much.
much. We appreciate it. There you go. That's Johnathan Hall, linebacker for the Utes. We'll have his teammate, Lance Holtzclaw, coming up next. Stay tuned. 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
College football is nearly here, and we're blowing out the budget on our coverage of the teams you can't live without. This is Big 12 Media Day coverage live from Frisco, Texas. Presented by Omada Real Estate. Buying or selling a home? Trust the experts at Omada Real Estate. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back to Big 12 Media Day coverage here in Frisco, Texas. When you talk University of Utah defense, you're always talking about defensive ends that can get after the quarterback, and we got one right now with us, Lance Holtzclaw, kind enough to join us. How are you, man?
Man, I'm doing amazing. How we doing, guys?
We're doing great. You ready to get after quarterbacks this year?
Man, I'm too ready. Too ready.
You know, it's been really fun to see the tradition of Utah defensive ends and the success that's been there. Is that something that attracted you to this program?
100%. You know, when you're sitting here and you're trying to figure out where's your next place you're going to land and you're trying to plan out your future, you're definitely doing your research and looking at the history of a program. And a program that's led by a defensive-minded captain, and sitting here and we go get after it. We send pressure. We send heat. We play really aggressive defense, and that's just what Utah has been known for years on, years out. So it's something that I knew was a no-brainer that I wanted to be a part of, and now I can sit here, be a leader of this type of program that we got going on, man, and we can take this so far.
You're a Massachusetts hometown guy, huh?
Yes, I am.
One of
Boston,
only.
Mass.
That's right, baby. You Red Sox guy?
Of course.
Dirty water?
Come on.
The whole thing. That's me, baby. I love it. How big a change? Obviously, you went to Washington, and that's a big difference. You went to high school in Arizona, though, right?
Yes,
so
sir.
You've been able to see and feel the heat in the desert. It's a little bit different than Boston. What's the biggest, as you go into the season, what's the biggest difference between what you see from Morgan Scalley as a head coach? Because this is what everybody's asking, right? They're like, can Utah continue to be Utah? And when we talked to Coach Scalley today, the first thing he talked about were core values, right? And being resilient, nasty, relentless and nasty, and ball hawking and all the things he talks about. But in terms of the feel of it, what's the biggest difference?
I mean, the feel of it is great. I mean, the thing about it is that everybody thinks it's going to change. Is like, this is not going to be the same Utah anymore. This is going to be this is that, da-da-da. They're unsure. But you should really be confident. This guy is somebody who's been nothing but a Ute his whole life. So he lives that thing through and through. He doesn't sit here and try to be just like the next person or anything like that. So he has his own spin on things, but, he also keeps things a way that he's comfortable with. But I'd say some of the biggest changes that he's just very open to change and open to looking at different things and improving things and making a lot of actions to improve our program in all different facets, off the field, on the field, when it comes to funding our stuff, when it comes to getting us new equipment, when it comes to getting us new facilities, things like that. It's amazing. But then when you go into the culture piece of things, like you were talking about, all of that he talks about, man, we have this posted all over us all over the time. This RSMB, that relentless, smart, nasty ball hawks, man, that thing breaks down even more and more and more than it does. But it used to be a defensive-minded type of culture of the defense, and now with him going into the head coaching role, he's now taking that culture that's instilled into our defense and making it team-wide. So now the whole team is RSMB. You can be a ball hawk on the offense, and smart, nasty, and relentless still translates to the offense as well, man. So that transition from Scalley going into the head coaching role, it's been a real smooth transition. It's been really good. Guys are gravitating to him, and, it's going to be a great thing moving forward. He's super excited. Has been ready for this.
Tell us about what you did last month. You had to put on a suit, and you went back to D.C., and you testified before the Senate Committee on Commerce, Science, and Transportation. Just hearing that, I would have been in panic mode. How did you handle it, and what was that about?
I mean, at the end of the day, man, it was really a fun experience. I mean, like, how many times do you get to hear of student athletes being able to go up on a stand and go and do that, or even have that opportunity presented to them? So first and foremost, it was extremely fun. Let the nerves come down a little bit after a second. I got to see everything the day before, so I kind of knew what type of room I was going to be walking into, and I'm really glad I did. I got in there, super bright lights, whole bunch of important people sitting around too, man, and you're sitting down on the bottom, and they're all up on the top looking down at you talking, so it definitely feels like some pressure, man. But nah, it was good. Once that first opening statement came out, man, it was good. They have a good vibe in the room, and it was a super fun experience.
So what was your purpose in terms of the message that you delivered?
My purpose was to sit there and be a voice for student athletes all over, and give them a perspective on the things that go on in our lives while they're sitting there trying to make decisions on our lives. We got a lot of people making decisions and changing things and rules and regulations for student athletes, and they're not involved in those conversations whatsoever. So it's like, how are we going to make all these decisions and change all these things for people, and they don't even have a say-so in the conversation? And it's not saying that I'm in there picking a side of what to do, what not to do, but ask me questions about the things you're trying to change, and I'll give you my perspective and my experiences on things so you can understand what it's like from a student athlete's perspective.
Sure, yeah.
Well, I would love to pick your brain on this more. We're getting the wrap-up signal, but
just got warming up.
I know, right? You're made for media. I know you want to play football for a long, long time, but just know you can make that transition whenever you're ready.
Let me know if y'all got some room for me somewhere, man. I'll stay in contact with y'all. We can be right here doing this thing a couple of years down the road.
We'll create a spot for you.
Appreciate you guys.
Hey, Lance, thanks so much, man.
Thank you, guys.
Go Red Sox, my guy.
Man, come on, Dorchester, Boston, Mass.
Dorchester was my area for like 8 months. I was a missionary out there, dude.
Dorchester was my time the whole time, man.
We'll have to talk for a second, find out where you lived.
All right, sorry to hold y'all up. Thank you, guys.
Lance Holtzclaw, right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Great conversation. Really good insight, too. And I really like to, because there's a lot of people out there that have got opinions on the way college football and college athletics should go, and not a lot of people actually talk to the actual players themselves.
Well, he's literally in the trenches.
Yes.
He is on the football field and then doing his, I don't know if you call it testifying, but whatever his remarks were, telling people, okay, this is my experience. I am a senior, so and I'm back east, but I also moved to Arizona, so I've been around different types of people in the country, and here's what we're going through as a representative. And he took it seriously. And, yeah, it must have been – it's a great experience just to be able to as you're a young person coming up, you got to learn to talk. You got to learn to be able to express yourself, and not just with your buddies. Anybody can do that.
Yeah.
A bunch of people that aren't your peers, because they're the people who are going to be hiring you. Even if you're trying to make it in the NFL, same type of premise. So for him to have that experience – man, I don't know if you can even put a price on that.
No, and the thing is, too, to be able to represent student athletes and say, okay, look, I know you guys are all making decisions regarding us. We would like to have a voice in that as well.
Well, give you dudes a clue, or your dudes being non-gender, the men and women listening to what he has to say. You're getting firsthand experience from someone who's done it and lived it and can tell you about it as they're trying to make decisions. I mean, I can't tell you how many supervisors have made decisions about me that I didn't like, and they never asked me.
Lloyd.
It would be a way to, if you were to approach a new deal. Maybe the Tommy Lloyd, where you don't have to necessarily answer to a certain person.
Oh, no, you're just trying to cause trouble. That's all you're trying to do.
Because I learned from the best.
I don't know why there's people like you. It just doesn't make any sense.
That's a great kid.
Really good kid.
Lived right off. I asked him. He lived right out of Ashmont Station. I used to be in and out of there so dang much. So we visited. He's got 617 tattooed on his arm, which is the area code. And
I got 602 on my chest.
Well, you probably have that, and then whatever jersey is on your toe.
I've got 208 on my calf right here.
You've got California. I love that we all look now. I went to the PK line of questioning. Boston, Mass, huh? Ever tried the chowder? But I did. The problem, I dapped him up, I gave him and I broke this wrist last year. I think he just broke it again.
Dude, that dude's got a handshake.
It's a mitt.
Yeah.
He's got a
lot of these guys have huge hands, but they don't bring the power.
He brought the power.
Yeah.
I'm serious. I think I broke it again.
I got the power.
I wonder if would that qualify as a workers' comp?
Sure.
I was on the job.
Yeah. So now you just started and you want time off. Jeez.
Well, I did do my contract right. I do work through the right people.
These kids today.
This is a Utah team that I think kind of represent Morgan with a little chip on their shoulder. Like, okay, you know what? It wasn't just Kyle as a coach. It was. I think the players are recognizing that too. Like, hey, we had something to do with this as well. And I think there's not animosity, but just like, hey, you know what? We also had a little bit to say about the success here at Utah.
Yeah, I mean, Kyle would always ask. If you asked him about his success, he would say the players.
Yes.
So he did give the players
I'm not saying he did.
A lot of credit, and the reality is he was forced out.
True.
But I think it's more of their love, rather than the chip to show anybody else, more about the love of Scalley that he's the right guy.
Yeah, I think the thing that stands out to me about all these guys is they're going through this, especially after today. Because everywhere they go, everything you read about Utah,
people want to know.
Hey, they've got where you are, so you tell them. I caught it. I just had to think for a second. No, but they're going to go around that line of questioning. Is going to be, what else do you ask guys?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because they've got on paper, everything you look at. They've got it's Utah, but people will say, are you guys really Utah?
Especially after 21 years.
Yes.
That's what I mean, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's where the chip comes from. Not that Kyle ever stole the spotlight or anything like that, but just like, are you guys going to be able to maintain who you are? And they're like, yeah, we are. Now,
I think that's where it is, yeah.
Yeah. And so I think that's the element where these guys are like, no, look, we're going to be just fine. We have a culture. We have the players. We're going to be okay. And especially, I make no mistake, these guys are seeing all the attention that is going over down in Provo right now, too, because they're here in Texas Tech, they're here in BYU, but not a lot of people are talking about Utah right now.
2 years ago, when they had the injuries and the Cam Rising spiel and they went 5-7, and they lost 7 games in a row. I think they started 4-0 and then lost 7.
Yeah.
And I had someone from Utah tell me, when we were on the field and they were going to lose another game, he goes, there's 2 things about this that stinks. Is we're having an awful season and those guys are undefeated.
Yeah.
That's what he said to me. On the field as the game, and it was right in the middle of that losing streak. And, the season had been shot already. It was just playing out the string, right? And we all knew it. And he said that, and I don't even remember who they were playing. It certainly wasn't the BYU game because that was exciting right down to the last second, obviously. But making that comment that 2 things. We are stinking this year in large part for the injury, and the other guys are really good. And, that's what a rivalry's about, though.
Yeah.
And it should be, and the rivalry being the same media market.
Yep.
Yeah, that's very few places have the same media market. Obviously, they have it in Los Angeles. But in Los Angeles, they also have the Rams and the Raiders. The Dodgers in October are usually in the World Series. In October, the hockey and jazz are just getting started, and college football is premium. I bet you if you dissected how much percentage-wise of all of our shows is college football,
talk, what would you say, at least 75% at that time of year?
Oh, yeah, easy.
Yeah. So the attention there, and you're fighting for the attention because whoever's winning, that's who we're going to be talking about. And they're both or all three, whoever it might be. If you're winning, we're talking about you.
I can say as guys at both places, in the rivalry, I definitely have purple blood because I've been both. But I will say when you win a game or lose a game and you get back to the locker room, you get through all your stuff and you're looking at scores. If you won and the other team that you are a rival with lost, it makes your win feel better.
Sweeter.
And if you lost and they lost, somehow yours doesn't feel as bad. I can't explain it, and it doesn't matter what side of it you're on.
But if you lost and they won, it makes your loss feel worse.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's where you don't come out of the room for the weekend. Say, honey, I'll see you Monday morning. You go straight to your room or to the closet, lay down on the floor, and seek solace. That's really the answer.
Yeah, so that's part of the deal, and BYU's been getting a lot of love because they've earned it. They've earned it out on the field, and that's the thing about it. If you want respect, get between those lines and win, and you get it.
Well, they did it in this league, right? Everybody was like, how are these teams going to compete in this league? They're in the top of it now, in the top tier.
Right.
And that's how. They just attacked it.
And then whatever questions we have about Utah will be answered about the coaching staff if they roll out a 10, 11-win season. And then it'll be obvious that that transition that they made from the demise of the Pac-12 to the Big 12 was just the injury to Cam Rising.
Yep.
And they didn't, and Barnes had taken off. If Barnes had stayed, they'd probably win 8 games again, maybe even more. But he didn't know what was going to happen, obviously, and he wanted to play, so he left and did what he did there, and they were caught short. And starting a first-year freshman, I don't care if he had 87 spring ball practices, he's still a first-year freshman, and that's not conducive to winning most of the time, if not all. So you got that going on there, and then if they roll out a 8-1, 7-2, maybe even 9-0 season, well, then that answers the questions, and Utah's flying again.
All right, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone, about ready to kick off the 11 o'clock hour here in Frisco, Texas, 10 a.m. back in Salt Lake City. Mark Harlan expected to join us sometime next hour. Also, I see some Kansas State players starting to facilitate their way through, so we may get a little update from Manhattan as well right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.